Luo Cheng. Qin Yuanfeng's voice exploded like a whip crack, eyes blazing with fury. He hadn't just lost face, he'd been publicly humiliated. Luo Cheng hadn't just injured Lu Yin. He'd ignored Qin Yuanfeng completely. That was unacceptable. Lu Yin, lying weakly beside him, gripped Qin Yuanfeng's hand with bloodied fingers, face twisted in pain and hate. All my bones are shattered. Xin Yuan's sect slipped from my grasp. That bastard ruined me. He coughed a mouthful of blood, eyes blazing with murderous fire. Qin Yuanfeng, I want him crippled. Skin him alive. Break every bone. Qin Yuanfeng's fists clenched. His voice was ice. Don't worry. Inside Xin Yuan's sect, Luo Cheng will be nothing more than meat on the butcher's table. I'll make him pay tenfold. No, 100-fold. Soon after, the Lianxin Gorge assessment concluded. Those who failed were quietly ferried away. Of the thousands who had arrived, only 400 to 500 stood in the valley, bruised, battered, but triumphant. On a high platform, Elder Chun Xian stepped forward, stroking his silver beard, voice echoing across the valley. Congratulations to all who have passed the first trial. The path of martial cultivation is a forest of thorns, not a garden of ease. Only those with iron will and fearless hearts can reach the summit. The crowd nodded. Many still felt the phantom pain of having their souls tested inside Lianxin Gorge. The fear hadn't faded. Chen Xian's gaze landed on one figure. Before we begin the second trial, he said with a smile, I have an announcement. Luo Cheng, for breaking the record in Lianxin Gorge, you are hereby accepted as an outer disciple of Xin Yuan's sect. Immediately. No further assessments required. The valley exploded in gasps and whispers. All that from a guy no one's ever heard of. Skipping the second trial? That's insane. Tuoba Lai muttered bitterly. If I'd known he was that freakish, I would have let him off the boat first. Luo Cheng simply smiled. He had originally planned to present Yun Mengli's identity token, but now? No need. Just as Elder Qin Xian was preparing to announce the second trial. Has Xin Yuan's sect fallen so low that even trash gets praised? The voice was cold and arrogant, cutting through the crowd like a blade. All heads turned toward the source, a pale-faced young man in outer disciple robes. Silence, one elder snapped. You're disrupting the examination. But the youth ignored him, eyes fixed on Luo Cheng. As I recall, Xin Yuan's sect only accepts disciples who've awakened at least a 3-star martial spirit. Luo Cheng narrowed his eyes. Who is this guy? Elder Chun Xian's face darkened. Lin Hong Kong. What are you getting at? Lin Hong Kong, descendant of the prestigious Lin family, backed by the 8th prince and wielder of a 7-star martial spirit, offered a respectful nod to Elder Qin Xian. I mean, no disrespect, but I worry you've been deceived. He turned toward Luo Cheng and pointed. That man awakened a martial spirit without even a single star, an unborn spirit. He's a fraud, a waste. He has no right to wear Xin Yuan sect robes. Silence. Then gasps. Shock. Snickers. An unconceived martial spirit. That's worse than useless. But he broke the Lianxin record. Maybe it was luck. Even Elder Chun Xian faltered. Is this true? Before Luo Cheng could respond, Tuoba Lai stood up, furious. Where'd the stray dog come from? Luo Cheng shattered the gorge record, and you're throwing dirt on his name? You want to talk about qualifications? Get lost. Beside him, Ling Chulan, cloaked in black, said quietly, reaching the state of sword heart and passing Lianxin first. There's no way he awakened a trash spirit. This accusation is nonsense. Lin Hong Kong's face darkened. Who do you think you are, barking at me? Even if you get in, you'll still have to call me Senior Brother Lin. Outer disciples nearby quickly rallied. Watch your mouth. That's Senior Brother Lin you're talking to. Apologize now. Tuoba Lai scoffed. You? Worthy of an apology. Lin Hong Kong trembled with rage. Enough. Elder Chun Xian's voice thundered like an earthquake, infused with qi. This is a sacred examination. Disrupt it again, and not even the 8th prince can shield you, Lin Hong Kong. Lin Hongkong took a long breath, restraining himself. I understand, Elder, but truth is truth. You'll see soon enough. Chen Xian gave Luo Cheng a long look. Before he could speak, Qin De Yuan stepped forward, cold and commanding. You, release your martial spirit. Luo Cheng sighed. He had guessed this would happen the moment he heard the Lin family's name. Fine. With a flick of his wrist, he summoned his spirit. Buzz. A nine-colored glow filled the air. Behind him appeared a glowing, translucent egg, its shell swirling with mysterious patterns. The valley fell into silence. Then chaos. An unborn spirit. No stars at all. He really is a waste. How did he pass the gorge? Some looked stunned. Some pitied him. Most laughed. He had just been a legend. Now they saw him as a joke. Even Tuoba Lai was stunned. No way, how can that be? The elders of Xianyuan's sect looked at one another, equally shaken. Qin De Yuan stepped forward, expression sharp. A man with an unborn spirit dares enter our sect? What insult! Leave. Now. With a casual flick of his sleeve. Boom. A shockwave blasted Luo Cheng backward, stumbling 5 steps before catching himself. But he didn't fall. He didn't break. He simply stood up and smiled. Luo Cheng steadied himself, blood churning in his chest. His gaze, cold as iron, locked on a Qin Do Yuan. He didn't need a reason to know. This man was targeting him. The contempt in his eyes wasn't just disdain. It was judgment, the same cold arrogance that Ji Yuanhao once looked at him with. Lin Hongkong, throw him out. Qin Do Yuan's voice was calm, but it rang like a death sentence. Gladly, Lin Hongkong said, eyes glinting with malice. He stepped forward with a few outer disciples, already imagining Luo Cheng's blood on the ground. As long as Luo Cheng stepped outside Xianyuan's sect, he was dead. But, wait. Luo Cheng's voice cut through the tension like a blade. He stood straight and stared directly at Qin Do Yuan. Elder Qin Xian is in charge of this assessment. I passed Lianxin Gorge first, broke the record, and Elder Qin Xian himself declared I'd skip the next test. Now you say I'm to be kicked out. With just a word? Is this how Xianyuan's sect treats its own rules? The disciples gasped. Even the outer elders hesitated. Insolence. Qin Do Yuan's face twisted in fury. Still talking back? Lin Hongkong, take him down. If he resists, cripple him. Just then, that's enough. Elder Chun Xian, silent until now, finally spoke. His voice wasn't loud, but it made everyone still. Qin Dian narrowed his eyes. Elder Chun, you truly want to admit this waste into our sect? Chun Xian stepped beside Luo Cheng and examined the radiant, unconceived martial spirit glowing behind him. His frown deepened. Even with Luo Cheng's astonishing performance, this spirit was a mystery, powerless, unborn, unranked. Lin Hongkong seized the moment. Elder Chun, senior brother Jin Min, personally confirmed it. This man awakened a 0-star Wei spirit back in Qishan City. He's arrogant, rude, and even disrespected senior brother. If not for his mercy, Luo Cheng wouldn't even be standing here. Qin De Yuan added sharply, by the rules of Xianyuan's sect, even a handyman disciple must awaken at least a 3-star martial spirit. If word spreads that we admitted someone like him, the other sects will mock us. Elder Qin Xian remained quiet. He was torn. Luo Cheng's will, talent, and performance had been remarkable. But an unconceived spirit, not even a backwater sect would take such a disciple. Then, you arrogant fools. Tuoba Lai finally lost patience. You talk about dignity, but you're ready to eat your own words just to avoid mockery? Who's the real disgrace here? Watch your mouth. Qin De Yuan snapped, and with a flick of his sleeve, released a burst of qi. Roar. Tuoba Lai stood firm as a massive, 3-eyed flame tiger erupted behind him, its red fur ablaze, 9 stars shining on its forehead. The valley trembled. 9-star martial spirit. Gasps echoed everywhere. Qin Do Yuan's qi smashed into Tuoba Lai and sent him skidding 10 meters, shirt torn, chest heaving. But Tuoba Lai only grinned and tore off what was left of his jacket. You think that scared me, old man? Just wait. I'll return the favor, and next time, you won't get up. Qin Doyuan didn't respond. He couldn't afford to offend a 9-star genius. At least, not yet. He turned back to Luo Cheng, snarling. You still have time to walk away. Don't embarrass yourself further. Luo Cheng remained still, unfazed. What I do has nothing to do with you. You disrespect Elder Qin. Lin Hongkong's followers stepped forward, fists clenched. Let us cripple him and toss him out. Luo Cheng ignored them. Calmly, he reached into his robes and produced a crimson jade token engraved with 3 characters. He held it out to Elder Qin Xian. Look carefully. This was given to me by its owner. She said it guarantees me entry into Xian Yuan's sect. Elder Qin Xian's brows rose. He took the token and injected a sliver of vitality. Whoosh! A searing heat erupted as the air shimmered. The characters Yin Mengli glowed from the token's core, exuding an aura that made the disciples instinctively step back. Even Qin Doyuan's expression changed. Where did you get this? He demanded. Luo Cheng replied coldly. From the one who owns it. Yin Mengli gave it to me herself. Lies, Qin Doyuan barked. That woman would never give this to someone like you. But Elder Qin Xian wasn't listening. He studied the token, then handed it back to Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng, he said, I'll make a concession. You will enter Xian Yuan's sect, but as a miscellaneous disciple. If you can reach the 3rd stage of Tongxian realm within 2 years, I will formally accept you into the outer sect as my personal disciple. Luo Cheng nodded without hesitation. Deal. He had no intention of taking 2 years. A few months would be more than enough. Lin Hongkong's face darkened. Elder Qin Xian, if you do this, what will you tell senior brother Jinmin? Silence. Qin Xian's voice exploded like thunder. His aura surged, and with a wave, Lin Hongkong was sent flying, coughing blood. You dare question me again, and I'll make you an example before the entire sect. Qin Xian's eyes burned like fire. Lin Hongkong collapsed, face pale, too afraid to even rise. Qin Doyuan stepped forward, still bitter. You would break the sect's rules for him? Qin Xian's voice cooled. Qin Doyuan, I don't know what grudge you hold, but be careful how far you let it go. Do you remember what date is? Yunmingli is dueling Yuan Qingying on Fengyan Island. If she wins, she'll become one of our 10 true inheritors with the power of life and death. If she says Luo Cheng is to enter the inner sect, that's all it takes. Qin Doyuan snorted. Yuan Qingying isn't weak. Yunmengli's dreaming if she thinks she can take her spot. He turned to Luo Cheng and spat. Fine. Go sweep floors and carry water for 2 years. Let's see if you can crawl to Tongxian with your pathetic, starless spirit. He sneered. He mocked. But Luo Cheng just smiled. Because he knew they wouldn't be laughing for long.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Things finally settled. Seeing Luo Cheng become a handyman disciple, everyone who participated in the assessment immediately exploded. No one expected that a waste who had awakened the useless martial spirit would successfully enter the Xian Yuan sect. Some are envious, some are shocked, and most of them are disdainful. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that Luo Cheng can stay in Xian Yuan's sect because of that token. Lin Hongkong was very unwilling, but he did not dare to speak again. He stared at Luo Cheng with his eyes and clenched his fists tightly. The plan was about to succeed and avenge the family, but at the last moment, the plan fell short. Several outer disciples nearby noticed and advised. Junior brother Lin, don't worry. Since he has offended senior brother Jinmin, isn't he still at your disposal in Xian Yuan sect? There will be many opportunities to kill him in the future. Hearing this, Lin Hongkong's eyes lit up. Qin Yuanfeng in the crowd also had the same idea. Looking at Luo Cheng's back, Qin Yuanfeng snorted coldly. Let you be proud for a few days, and I will let you know that entering Xian Yuan's sect is the beginning of your nightmare. Luo Cheng returned to Tuoba Lai and said gratefully, Thank you very much just now. If you need anything in the future, just ask. Luo Chung didn't expect that in the situation just now, Tuoba Lai would still stand up and speak for him. Tuoba Lai smiled cheerfully and said, "What's the point? I just can't stand them. They're nothing but trash. I don't think any of them can compare to you." In Tuoba Lai's opinion, Luo Cheng's understanding of the Sword Heart Realm alone is infinitely better than Lin Hong Kong and others. Noticing the token in Luo Cheng's hand, Tuoba Lai asked curiously, "What is this thing? Does it have a big background?" Ling Chulan, who was standing aside, said, "This is the core disciple token of Xianyuan's sect. Yun Mingli is the most promising person in Xianyuan's sect to be promoted to a true disciple, and his identity is not trivial." Luo Chung, what is your relationship with Yun Mingli? Ling Chulan looked at Luo Chung with a pair of delicate eyes. "Well, I just met him twice." Luo Chung said truthfully, "I just met twice." Ling Chulan's eyes widened in disbelief. As far as he knew, Yun Mengli always acted alone. Luo Chung took out Yun Mengli's identity token, and Ling Chulan thought that Luo Chung and Yun Mengli had a close relationship. At this time, Elder Chun Xian began to announce the content of the subsequent assessment. The noisy valley suddenly became quiet. In addition to the Lianxin Gorge trial, there are 2 more entrance exams for Xianyuan sect. The second level is the martial arts assessment. Only those with at least a 3-star martial spirit can advance to the third level. The third level is a practical assessment. Comprehend a volume of 1-star martial arts within an hour. Use this martial arts to fight monsters with fellow practitioners, and use the dual performance to determine whether to advance. The 3-level assessment tests the warrior's mental perseverance, martial soul talent, and understanding respectively. It is very comprehensive. However, as long as the martial spirit exceeds 3 stars, even if the third level fails, you can still become a handyman disciple of Xianyuan sect. This can also be seen that Xianyuan sect attaches great importance to the level of martial souls. It can be said that the martial soul level is the most important criterion in the assessment. Luo Chung didn't need to take part in the assessment, so he watched the excitement from the sidelines. Soon, the second level of assessment began. Along with the huge vibration, a huge cyan curtain rose in the valley. Anyone who passes through the curtain will release their martial spirit uncontrollably. Suddenly, all kinds of brilliance shone in the valley, and martial spirits spurted out one after another. These martial spirits are all kinds of strange. The most numerous ones are beast spirits, including tigers, ferocious wolves, pythons, etc. In addition, there are also some strange martial arts spirits such as swords, guns, swords and halberds, flowers and trees, mountains, rivers and stars. Luo Chung made an observation and found that most of these people had awakened intermediate martial spirits, and only a few 20 or 30 people had awakened 3-star martial spirits. There is no low-level martial spirit below the 3-star martial spirit. It's no wonder that people who have awakened 1-star or 2-star martial souls will never come to participate in the Xianyuan sect's assessment. Even if there were, they would have been eliminated in Lianxin Gorge. In this way, Luo Chung is indeed an alien among aliens. Among the many martial souls, the 9-star martial soul is the highest grade, and together with Tuoba Lai, there are 4 in total. What surprised Luo Chung was that the handsome young man Ling Chulan also awakened the 9-star martial spirit. It was a sword filled with cold air, with 9 stars shining brightly. Except for Luo Chung, everyone else looked at Ling Chulan and the other 4 with extremely envious eyes. The 9-star martial spirit is also a rare genius in Xianyuan sect. He will be trained intensively. If he is lucky, he will be accepted as a disciple by the elders of the inner sect. In the future, it will not be a problem to be promoted to the 3rd realm of Tongxian, or even the realm of pulse awareness. Elder Qin Xian was very happy. In the past assessments, it was difficult to find a genius who had awakened the 9-star martial spirit. This time, there were 4 people at once. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Elder Chun Xian announced the start of the 3rd level assessment. Compared to the second level where everyone passed, the elimination rate in the third level can be said to be very cruel. There were 400 to 500 people, but in the end, only 100 or so people passed the assessment. It's no wonder that even a one-star martial arts master can only master it for an hour and then use it in actual combat. It is by no means an easy task. As the assessment ended, some people were happy and some were sad. Those who failed to pass the third level assessment all sighed. Even if you don't pass the third level, you can still become a handyman disciple of Xianyuan sect. However, the identities of handyman disciples and outer disciples are very different. The handyman disciples have the lowest status in Xianyuan sect. Not only do they have little training resources, they also have to do odd jobs and act as coolies. If you fail to advance to the Tongxian realm within 3 years, you will be expelled from the Xianyuan sect. Even so, no one left. Even being a handyman disciple of the Xianyuan sect is what many people dream of. Luo Cheng, you have to come to the outer gate early. Tuoba Lai came to say goodbye to Luo Cheng. Outer disciples and handyman disciples live in different areas. Luo Cheng smiled and said, "Don't worry, within 5 months, I will definitely become an outer disciple." It has been less than a month since he was promoted to the mortal realm, and Luo Cheng is confident that he can break through the 3 realms of Tongxian in 3 months. However, thinking that it would be increasingly difficult to break through the realm in the future, Luo Cheng increased the time to 5 months. 5 months! Tuoba Lai was stunned. He didn't expect Luo Cheng to be so confident. He laughed and said, "Okay, I'll wait for you." Hearing the conversation between the two, the people next to him sneered at Luo Cheng. In Xianyuan sect, only a handful of handyman disciples can be promoted to outer disciples within 3 years. A good-for-nothing who has awakened his useless martial soul actually claimed that he would break through the 3 realms of Tongxian within 5 months. He was so arrogant. Hee. At this moment, a sneer sounded. Qin Yuan Feng came over. He successfully became an outer disciple. He looked at Luo Cheng with a superior look and said with a smile, "Becoming an outer disciple in 5 months, I won't be afraid of letting my tongue slip when I speak big words." Tuoba Lai frowned and said, "Who is he?" Luo Cheng said indifferently, "It's just a mad dog." Hearing this, Qin Yuanfeng's face darkened. Murderous intent gleamed in his pupils, and he suddenly smiled. "You still dare to be so arrogant until now. Very good. Didn't you say that you will become an outer disciple within 5 months? Then I will tell you, not only will you not become an outer disciple, you will also die a violent death." After leaving a threatening word, Qin Yuanfeng turned around and left. After taking a step forward, he stopped again, pointed at the meteoric sword on Luo Cheng's waist, and said with a smile, "Keep an eye on my sword. I'll come back to get it after a while." What the hell is this guy? He's really infuriating. Tuoba Lai looked at Qin Yuanfeng's back and said angrily, "Luo Cheng, do you want me to find an opportunity to help you teach him a lesson?" "No need." Luo Cheng shook his head. He still likes to handle his own affairs. "Well, I think this person is very insidious, so be more careful. I will come back to you when I have time." After saying goodbye, Tuoba Lai also walked towards the outer disciples. "Come here, handyman disciple." The voice of an assessment elder spread throughout the valley. Then, the elder took Luo Cheng and others to the outskirts of the mountains. The handyman disciples and outer disciples all live in the outer areas of Xianyuan sect. However, the outer disciples live on the mountain peaks inside, with row courtyards, and the vitality of heaven and earth is more abundant. The handyman disciples lived in row houses at the foot of the surrounding hills, and the status gap was very obvious. Along the way, other people gathered in small groups. Only Luo Cheng was alone, walking aside. No one cared about him, and he looked very strange. In the eyes of everyone, Luo Cheng was just a useless person who had awakened his useless martial soul and relied on connections to enter the Xianyuan sect. They were disdainful and unwilling to associate with him. In addition, Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Luo Cheng had offended the outer sect elder Qin Do Yuan, as well as many outer sect disciples. It could be said that he had made enemies in many directions, and naturally no one would come looking for uninteresting friendships. Luo Cheng didn't care. He just wanted to get to his place of residence quickly and practice well. The outer gate area is huge, with hundreds of peaks. Luo Cheng and his party walked for half an hour, and when the sun was setting, they came to a beautiful mountain peak. Ahead, thousands of row houses are scattered in a very spectacular manner. Elder Yuan, the two young men have been waiting there for a long time. They saluted respectfully to the assessment elder and looked at Luo Cheng and others. Are these the new handyman disciples? Good. Elder Yuan nodded, turned to face the crowd, and said loudly, "You will live here from now on. If anything happens, these two senior brothers will explain it to you. Practice well and strive to enter the third realm of Tongxian and enter the outer gate as soon as possible." With a word of warning, Elder Yuan's figure rose into the sky and disappeared into the mountains in the blink of an eye. "Come with us." As soon as Elder Yuan left, the two young men immediately raised their chins and led the way. On the way, the two introduced themselves. The tall boy is named Li Hui, and the other is named Zhang Lian. Both of them have reached the third level of mortal transformation and have been servant disciples for a year. There are many things within the sect that need to be completed by our handyman disciples, including delivering letters, cleaning, etc. The specific responsibilities will be arranged tomorrow. Also, within the sect, private fights are prohibited. If you have personal grudges, you can challenge and fight in public. There is a sect manual in your room. Remember to read it carefully. As they walked, the two introduced each other. Soon, everyone came to a residential area. In addition to row houses, there are also some more simple datonpu built with bamboo. There are numbers on the terraced houses, and the realms of cultivation are also written on them, such as the first level of mortal realm, the second level of mortal realm. The higher the realm, the more luxurious and tall the house is built. There are also exquisite and elegant small courtyards in the deepest part. According to Li Hui and his colleagues, in these small courtyards, only those who have reached the sixth level of transformation are qualified to live in these small courtyards. As for the simplest Daitongpu, it is for the disciples of the tempering realm. Sure enough, strength is the last word. Luo Cheng sighed in his heart. Outside, strength is respected, but inside the sect, this is even more vividly reflected. Higher strength means better treatment and status. Okay, the vacant rooms here are enough for you to live in. You can choose freely according to your own cultivation level. A tall young man named Li Hui announced and added, "Who among you is named Luo Cheng?" Several people pointed at Luo Cheng. Now, almost everyone knows him. Li Hui nodded slightly and said directly to Luo Cheng, "Go and live there." Li Hui pointed to Daitongpu not far away. Luo Cheng frowned. He is at the third level of the mortal realm, so he should live in an independent townhouse. "How can I practice cultivation if I go to sleep in Daitongpu?" He immediately asked. "That's where body-tempering realm warriors live, I guess." "I've broken through to the third level of mortal transformation realm." Li Hui smiled coldly. "It is true for ordinary people. But do you think that a waste who has awakened the useless martial spirit deserves to live in such a good room? You are a piece of trash like you, an unpregnant martial soul without a star. In our Xianyuan sect, it would be nice to have a place to shelter from the wind and rain, but you are still here to pick and choose." Luo Cheng's face darkened, and he said coldly, "Who instigated you? He and the other party are strangers, so it is impossible to suddenly target him." Li Hui was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "No one needs to instruct me." "Why, you're not convinced. If you're not convinced, you can kneel down and beg me. Maybe I am in a good mood and can change your room for you." Luo Cheng narrowed his eyes slightly and suddenly said, "I remember that there is a rule in the sect. If you have a personal grudge, you can challenge it. The loser's treatment will be replaced." "Oh, you said that. Do you want to challenge me? Replace me? Did you hear that this loser actually wants to challenge me?" Li Hui seemed to have heard a big joke, pointing at Luo Cheng and laughing. Others also shook their heads. Although they are both at the third level of mortal transformation realm, Li Hui has been in Xinyuan sect for a year, and his real combat power is definitely not comparable to that of ordinary third-level mortal transformation realm warriors. Luo Cheng stared at Li Hui with cold eyes. What? You don't dare? Li Hui's face darkened, and he said coldly, I don't dare? Why don't I dare? If I want to defeat a waste like you, I can do it with just one hand. However, it's too late today to disturb the elders. Tomorrow you can challenge at any time. I will always be with you. Good. Luo Cheng said no more and walked towards Daitongqiu. A loser dares to challenge senior brother Li with such nonsense. He really doesn't know how to live or die. That's right. Then Luo Cheng overestimates his abilities and should be taught a lesson. As soon as Luo Cheng left, the handyman disciples present all flattered Li Hui. Li Hui was very pleased and said proudly, Hey, as long as he dares to challenge me tomorrow, I will beat him to pieces. Let him know what the rules are. Luo Cheng entered the Datong berth and chose a bed in the corner. In addition to the quilt, there are 2 sets of uniforms for handyman disciples, a porcelain vase, and a book on the bed. In the porcelain bottle are 3 vitality pills. Vitality pill is the most common spiritual pill, which can help warriors restore their vitality, strengthen their bodies, and temper their bodies. Luo Cheng put away the porcelain bottle and opened the book. The book is called Xinyuan Lu. The first 3 pages are a section of cultivation techniques called Qingyuan Ju, a 3-star technique. This made Luo Cheng feel a little emotional. The exercises that are just given to the handyman disciples to practice are comparable to the treasures of the family, worthy of being one of the 3 major sects. The background is unimaginable. Luo Cheng took a look at it and found out that although this Qing Yuan Ju is a 3-star technique, compared to the first-level true Dragon Ju of All Heaven's Yulong Ju, it is vulgar and not worth mentioning. Not paying attention to Qing Yuan Ju, Luo Cheng continued to read. In addition to Qing Yuan Ju, the Xinyuan sect is introduced in detail at the back of the book, as well as some common sense that warriors need to know. The hierarchy within Xinyuan sect is strict, and the disciples are divided into several levels. They are handyman disciples, outer disciples, inner disciples, core disciples, and true disciples. Among them, the true disciples have the highest status, comparable to the elders of the inner sect, and have the power of life and death. No wonder Yun Mengli's challenge to the true disciple Yuan, Qingying, caused a sensation. Luo Cheng thought of the battle between Yun Mengli and Yuan Qingying. I don't know the outcome of this battle. At this moment, Luo Cheng hoped that Yun Mengli could win. In this way, Yun Mengli is the true disciple. As the person recommended by the other party, Luo Cheng's status will definitely rise accordingly. After reading Xinyuan Lu hastily, it was already late at night when Luo Cheng closed the book. Looking at the Xinyuan record in his hand, Luo Cheng couldn't calm down for a long time. In addition to introducing the Xinyuan sect, the book also recorded a lot of knowledge about the realm of cultivation, elixirs, monsters, etc., which opened Luo Cheng's eyes and gained a lot of insights. The introduction to the mortal transformation realm surprised Luo Cheng. According to Xinyuan Lu, for warriors in the mortal realm, the Dantian is the place where vitality is condensed. The House of Vitality is only the size of a pinhead and is the door to magical powers. In the realm of transformation, the House of Vitality will not change. Only when it reaches the 3rd realm of Tongxian will this magical door open and gradually transform. However, in Luo Cheng's Dantian, there was a vortex of vitality the size of a walnut, and there was a dragon energy hidden in it. It should be the reason for practicing the true dragon art. Luo Cheng didn't understand the reason, so he simply stopped thinking about it. Zhongzhou, thinking of the introduction to this world in Xinyuan Lu, Luo Cheng murmured to himself. According to the book, the Diyue dynasty is only one of the 9 major domain groups in Dongzhou, a dynasty in the Yunlan domain group. Besides Dongzhou, there are 4 continents, among which Central Continent is the most vast. It is said that the area of Central Continent is larger than the other 4 continents combined. Even a warrior in the Awakening Realm would not be able to cross the entire Central Continent in his lifetime. Luo Cheng didn't expect the world to be so big. In his eyes, the vast Dai Viet dynasty was just a drop in the ocean of this world. Luo Cheng thought of the Ji family. The head of the Ji family is located in Central Continent and is a giant force in Central Continent. This shows how huge the Ji family is. No wonder my father had such an expression when he heard me say that I wanted to go to Ji's house in person. But so what? Within 10 years, I will definitely go to Ji's house. Luo Cheng was not hit by the cruel reality, but felt that time was becoming increasingly pressing. 10 years, for a warrior, is neither short nor long. Putting away Xinyuan Lu, Luo Cheng sat cross-legged and prepared to practice. Dozens of people were staying in Datongbu. Many people were sleeping, and only a few people were reading and practicing. Next to Luo Cheng was a slightly fat young man. When he saw Luo Cheng practicing cross-legged, he curled his lips in disdain and muttered, "Awakening the useless martial spirit is destined to be expelled from the Xinyuan sect. If you are still showing off, your training will be in vain." Luo Cheng was too lazy to pay attention, calmed down, and started practicing. As the true dragon art circulates, the dragon energy in the vortex of Dantian immediately becomes active and rushes endlessly in the vortex. The night passed quickly. Hold head high. As soon as the sky dawned, a dragon's roar that seemed both real and illusory sounded from Luo Cheng's Dantian. 2 small bumps appeared in front of the dragon's head. Hey, the true dragon art is about to break through again. Luo Cheng was extremely surprised when he discovered the changes in the dragon's energy. The 9 levels of true dragon art correspond to the 9 changes of dragon energy. This change in the dragon's energy is obviously about to undergo a second transformation. If there weren't so many people here, Luo Cheng would really like to swallow a 3-star pill, continue practicing, and hit the 2nd level of the true dragon art. Looks like we have to find another place to live as soon as possible. Luo Cheng secretly thought about it. Living with dozens of people makes it impossible to practice quietly. Luo Cheng couldn't help but think of challenging Li Hui. As long as he defeats the other party, he can replace the other party's treatment. Just when I thought about the challenge, there was a sudden noise outside and a bell rang. This was the assembly bell. Luo Cheng immediately dressed up and walked out. More than 300 handyman disciples had just gathered when 3 figures walked over quickly. The leader was an old man in green clothes who was slightly stout, followed by Li Hui and Zhang Lian. The old man in green coughed twice and said loudly, "My name is He Guangza, and I am responsible for the affairs of the miscellaneous disciples. You can call me Elder He. Regarding the sect's rules and precautions, I believe you all know it from Xinyuan Lu, so I won't say more here. I'm here to give you your tasks. The body-tempering realm disciples are responsible for cleaning the area. Senior brother Zhang Lian will arrange it for you. You select 50 people and be responsible for everyone's food needs. You select 80 people to be responsible for the management of the medicinal fields." Elder He divided the tasks one by one, and those who were named immediately began to select people. However, no one wanted to get involved with Luo Cheng, so they avoided him when selecting personnel. In the end, only Luo Cheng was left standing there. Li Hui whispered a few words into Elder He's ear. Elder He frowned slightly, looked at Luo Cheng, and then said slowly, "There's a vacancy in raising the Sky Wind Vulture. You should be responsible for raising the Sky Wind Vulture. Feed the Sky Wind Vulture." After Elder He gave this order, there were boos all around. Many people looked at Luo Cheng with sympathy, and some were gloating about his misfortune. The tasks that the handyman disciples are responsible for are also divided into priorities. Yesterday, many people found out the powerful relationship between them. Things like cleaning and delivering mail are the easiest, and everyone wants to do it. The last thing everyone wants to do is to raise Sky Wind Vultures. The Tianfeng Vulture is a monster mount raised by Xinyuan's sect. The Sky Wind Vulture is extremely difficult to take care of. Every day, not only do you have to feed it as it likes, but you also have to comb its feathers, adjust its mood, etc. There are quite a lot of chores. This is not the most important thing. The most frightening thing is that the sky wind vultures have a bad temper, and if they are not raised well, they may kill people. This is why there are often vacancies in the job of raising sky wind vultures. This job is not only hard work, but also extremely dangerous. Seeing Luo Cheng's silence, Li Hui said with a smile, "Luo Cheng, why don't you come over quickly and thank Elder He?" Luo Cheng glanced at Li Hui lightly. There's no need to think about it. He'll be sent to raise Tianfeng vulture. Li Hui must be the one who hinders it. Taking a deep breath, Luo Cheng said to Elder He, "Elder He, according to Xinyuan Lu, as long as an elder is present, you can initiate a challenge." "Right, good." Elder He nodded, wondering why Luo Cheng asked this. Luo Cheng looked directly at Li Hui with sharp eyes. "What are you waiting for? Come and fight." As soon as Luo Cheng's words came out, the whole place was silent. The handyman disciples present all stared at Luo Cheng in disbelief. Yesterday, Luo Cheng said he wanted to challenge Li Hui. Everyone thought it was just Luo Cheng's talk to save face. No one expected that Luo Cheng would come for real. This Luo Cheng is crazy. He must be crazy. It's just a waste of martial arts spirit. It's really unknown what the heavens and the earth are. After being shocked, everyone just felt that Luo Cheng was too arrogant. Even if they are all in the third level of mortal transformation realm, their strength is still different. Li Hui entered Xinyuan's sect and has been practicing for a year, and his strength is by no means simple. How can a waste who has awakened his useless martial spirit compare to Li Hui? Elder He was also stunned for a moment, and then said calmly, "You want to challenge Li Hui? If you defeat Li Hui, you can indeed enjoy his treatment. However, you must be self-aware and have the corresponding strength if you want good treatment. Otherwise, you will only become the laughing stock of others. You have to think clearly." "I think clearly." Luo Cheng came directly to an open space and stared at Li Hui with high fighting spirit. "Haha, being too arrogant is not a good thing." Elder He narrowed his eyes slightly and said to Li Hui, "Li Hui, since he wants to challenge you, don't be polite." Elder He originally wanted Luo Cheng to retreat when he saw the difficulty, but he didn't expect Luo Cheng to give any face at all, and his tone was slightly angry. "Yes." Li Hui smiled slightly and walked over. The crowd automatically dispersed and formed a circle. Some veteran handyman disciples who were passing by were also attracted and gathered around. "As soon as we come here, our Xinyuan sect will challenge Li Hui. This guy is quite fierce. How many moves do you think he can block?" "I think 10 moves at most." "10 moves? You think too highly of him. I only think of 3 moves at most." Everyone only regarded Luo Cheng as a joke, and no one liked it. Li Hui stood in front of Luo Cheng and said with a ferocious smile, "I didn't expect you to dare to challenge me. Now it's too late for you to regret it." Luo Cheng glanced lightly. "Why should I regret it?" Li Hui sneered. "You have a tough mouth? Draw your sword and let me see how strong you are." Luo Cheng shook his head gently. "You alone are not worthy of me drawing my sword." As soon as these words came out, everyone present was stunned. No matter how arrogant a person is, there must be a limit. Even Elder He on the side frowned. Li Hui has always been favored by him. He often makes a few remarks on weekdays. He is considered to be half of his disciples, but he is so ignored. Li Hui, since Luo Cheng is so confident, don't hide your clumsiness and let him learn your Ling Feng sword technique. Elder He's tone was a little serious. "Yes." Li Hui was also angry and said ferociously, "Boy, you asked for this. Lie down." With a clang, Li Hui's sword was unsheathed. His sword was very fast, and he saw a bright sword light whizzing towards Luo Chengwan, which was dizzying. So strong. The new handyman disciples present inhaled slightly. This sword's moves are exquisite, as fast as thunder, and there is no way to avoid it. Even Elder He couldn't help but nodded slightly. Ling Feng sword technique is a 3-star sword technique. Li Hui has cultivated it to the level of Deshang. It is light and easy, and contains changes in its speed. An ordinary third-level warrior in a mortal transformation realm will never be able to stop this sword. When everyone thought that this sword attack would determine the outcome, Luo Qing's expression showed no emotion. If he had not reached the realm of sword heart, Li Hui's sword would be pretty good. Now in Luo Qing's eyes, this sword was full of flaws and vulgar. With his eyes slightly focused, Luo Qing grabbed the gap between the sword light, dodged sideways, and punched out, hitting Li Hui hard in the chest. With a bang, Li Hui spat out a mouthful of blood. His body flew 7 or 8 meters away like a torn sack and hit the ground heavily. Li Hui stared at Luo Qing and tried to stand up, but he spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Luo Qing clapped his hands and said calmly, "With your meager strength, you are barely qualified to live in Daitampu." Hearing this, Li Hui almost died of anger. This was what he said to humiliate Luo Qing yesterday, and now it all falls on him. The people around him who thought Luo Qing was bound to lose were all stunned at this moment, with their mouths slightly open. No one expected that this battle would end like this. Many people didn't even see how Li Hui was defeated. Elder He, what happened just now? Zhang Lian, who was beside Elder He, couldn't help but ask. Elder He looked ugly. He had just asked Li Hui to teach Luo Qing a lesson, but in the blink of an eye, Li Hui was defeated. Li Hui was still half his disciple, which made him feel ashamed. It's just good luck. Elder He snorted coldly. With his eyesight, he could naturally see how Li Hui was defeated. However, Elder He did not believe that Luo Qing could avoid all Li Hui's sword moves. This required extremely high vision and mental strength. Many experienced warriors in Immortal Transformation Realm could not do it. They could only regard it as luck. Zhang Lian, you can arrange the rest. Someone, take Li Hui down for treatment. After giving the order, Elder He looked at Luo Qing coldly and turned to leave. 2 handyman disciples immediately stepped forward to help Li Hui. Noticing Li Hui's injury, both of them couldn't help but gasp. Li Hui suffered a complete fracture of his sternum and serious internal injuries. It was just a punch, but it turned out to be so miserable. Little did the 2 of them know that this was the result of Luo Qing deliberately restraining his strength. Otherwise, with a punch of more than 10,000 kilograms, Li Hui would have died suddenly on the spot. Li Hui was carried down. After Zhang Lian arranged the task for others, he walked over to Luo Qing and said, "There are many vacant rooms over there in the row house. You can choose any one to live in." Luo Qing nodded and asked, "I don't have to raise the sky wind vulture now, right?" "Certainly." Zhang Lian smiled, took out a jade token, and handed it to Luo Qing. "You take Li Hui's place, and like me, are responsible for supervising inspections. Except for the orders of the elders, you can also call on these new handyman disciples." "Good." Luo Qing took the token and weighed it, feeling satisfied. This is much better than raising Tianfeng Vulture. Not only does it take care of hundreds of people, but it also allows more time for cultivation. "Okay, I'll take them to the medicine field first, and then I'll show you around later." Zhang Lian left a message and left with the handyman disciple in charge of the medicine field. Luo Qing was about to choose a room when several people next to him looked at each other and suddenly surrounded him and intercepted him. Luo Qing glanced at a few people. "What do you mean?" One of the young men, who was wearing fine silk and had long cheeks, smiled faintly and pointed at the jade plaque in Luo Qing's hand. "Nothing. I just want you to hand over this jade token." Luo Qing said without changing his expression. "Why?" The long-faced boy flicked his fingers and said with a smile, "Huh, you don't think you can really ride on our heads, do you? You are a loser who has awakened the useless martial spirit. Who among the people here will obey you? If you don't believe me, give me the command and see who will listen to you. Kai Yuan, will you listen to him?" "It's a joke. You're a loser, and you still want to use me?" As the long-faced boy finished speaking, a boy with a sword immediately sneered. "That's right. You don't have to urinate to look at yourself. There is no one here whose talent is 10 or 100 times higher than yours." Another disciple shouted. Luo Qing glanced at it. A total of 6 people stood up, including Kai Yuan, There are 3 people who are warriors at the 3rd level of the mortal realm. The other 3 are not weak in strength. They're all at the 2nd level of the mortal realm. Licking his lips, Luo Cheng stared at the 6 people and said, "Aren't you afraid of violating the sect rules?" He, the young man with a sword named Kai Yuan, sneered. "This is a world where the strong are respected. What do you think you are? Just a handyman disciple, and you are still a waste. There are at least 100,000 miscellaneous disciples of the Xianyuan sect. Even if we break your hands and feet, you will only be imprisoned for a few days at most. Do you really think anyone will take you seriously?" The long-faced boy next to him took a step closer and said with a ferocious smile, "Hurry up and hand over the jade token if you are wise. Otherwise, you will not be able to get out of bed tomorrow." Haha, the strong are respected. That's right. In this way, it doesn't mean anything if I punish you for your mistakes. Luo Cheng said coldly. The long-faced boy stared. "What did you say?" "I will use you to establish my power today." Before he finished speaking, Luo Cheng's figure flew out and punched the long-faced boy. Bang! The huge force squeezed the air until it made a dull, sonic boom. Not good. The long-faced boy was shocked and hurriedly punched to meet the attack. Fists clashed. "Ah!" The long-faced boy screamed. His body flew upside down like a sandbag. Blood spurted out from his mouth. His whole right hand was pulled aside, and his bones were completely broken. Everyone did not expect Luo Cheng to be so bold and dare to take action under such circumstances, and they were all stunned. Luo Cheng glanced at the other 5 people and said, "Say, who ordered you?" First it was Li Hui, and then it was these people, so unscrupulous. There's no way no one is causing trouble. However, I don't know whether it's Lin Hong Kong or Qin Yuan Feng behind these people. Kai Yuan's pupil shrank, and he shouted angrily, "Come together! Destroy him! Superior!" The 5 people drew their weapons and rushed towards Luo Cheng together. Luo Cheng raised the corners of his mouth slightly and placed his palm on the meteoric sword. Tianyun second style yunding. Clang, 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 clang. Ah, ah, ah. The people present felt their eyes blurred. The 5 Kai Yuan men who rushed forward flew backwards like broken sandbags and hit the ground, causing dust to fly. When Luo Changgang broke through the 3rd level of the mortal realm, his strength reached the strength of 9 oxen and 2 tigers, nearly 15,000 kilograms, which was comparable to a 4th level warrior of the mortal realm. Now, true dragon art has taken a step further, and his strength will only become stronger. How can people like Kai Yuan be his opponents? Whoever is still dissatisfied should come as soon as possible. Luo Cheng glanced around. There was silence. Everyone was stunned by the scene in front of them. Some timid people did not even dare to look at Luo Cheng, their bodies trembling. One sword, just one sword. 5 extremely powerful mortal transformation realm warriors were all defeated miserably. No one expected that Luo Cheng would be so tyrannical, let alone that he would act so harshly and not be merciful at all. Luo Cheng walked directly to Kai Yuan, stepped on the wound on his palm, and said coldly, "How about it? How does it feel to be stepped on by a loser? Tell me, who ordered you?" "Ah, trash, you are asking for death." Kai Yuan screamed in pain and stared at Luo Cheng, but he did not forget the threat. "Yeah." Luo Cheng sneered and kicked again. With a click, Kai Yuan's entire right hand was almost deformed and blood flowed. "Ah, I said. Kai Yuan was completely shocked by Luo Cheng's ruthlessness and said hurriedly, "These are the outer disciples who showed up for the entrance examination yesterday. They gave each of us 10 vitality pills and promised to help us enter the outer sect. They told us to take good care of you and make your life worse than death in the past 2 years. Lin Hong Kong. Luo Cheng frowned. He knew that the other party would not give up, but he did not expect that the other party would move so quickly. Li Hui targets him everywhere. I'm afraid it's the same. It seems that we must become an outer disciple as soon as possible. Luo Cheng felt the crisis. If he hadn't been so powerful, he would have suffered a huge setback this time. He didn't take Lin Hong Kong seriously, but Jin Min behind him was a core disciple, and his status was no small matter. And that Qin de Yuan, Luo Cheng has already learned that the other party is Uncle Qin Yuanfeng. Kai Yuan is right. The handyman disciples are nothing in Xin Yuan's sect. Even if they die and become disabled, no one will care at all. Only if you become an outer disciple will the sect take it seriously. Let these people be afraid. Taking a deep breath, Luo Cheng looked at the 6 people lying on the ground and said, "Hand over all the vitality pills you have." Luo Cheng, you, don't bully others too much. One person is not willing to be manipulated like this. Luo Cheng turned his eyes and smiled coldly. What? Do you also want me to serve you personally? Hearing this, the man's face turned pale. He had seen Luo Cheng's methods just now, and in the end he had to grit his teeth and hand over the vitality pill. Others did not dare to resist and handed over the vitality pills one by one, but their hearts were bleeding. This time I lost blood. Not only did I not get the 10 vitality pills, I even lost my original investment, including the 3 vitality pills given out after entering the sect. Each of the 6 people had at least 13 vitality pills, a total of nearly 80 vitality pills. Luo Cheng put away the vitality pill and was satisfied. Even if a vitality pill is worth 10,000 taels, this is still 800,000 taels, which is a considerable fortune. Luo Cheng wants to attack the 3 realms of Tongxian as soon as possible, so the more cultivation resources, the better. At this time, Zhang Lian came back. Seeing the 6 people lying on the ground, Zhang Lian asked unexpectedly, "What's going on?" "Senior brother Zhang Lian, this is Luo Cheng. He acts recklessly and lawlessly, and regards the iron laws of the sect as nothing. He beat us hard. He also took away our vitality pills. Please ask senior brother Zhang Lian to make the decision for us." Kai Yuan, who was covered in blood, seemed to have seen the savior and complained to Zhang Lian with tears in his eyes. The other 5 people also said yes. Zhang Lian looked at the 6 people and his eyes flickered. These people were all very strong, but they were defeated by one person. Luo Cheng, is that true? Zhang Lian looked at Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng had already thought of his words, raised the jade token in his hand, and said calmly, "They want to seize my token, and they also want to besiege me. This is the following crime, and they have no sect. Since I am responsible for patrolling and monitoring, naturally I can't just sit back and watch." I ignored him and gave him a little punishment. Everyone present is a witness. Everyone else was silent. Behind Kai Yuan and others were the outer disciples, and they did not dare to offend. In their eyes, Luo Cheng was simply the reincarnation of an evil star, and they didn't dare to say anything. Zhang Lian pondered for a moment and waved his hand. "Take them down for treatment." "Senior brother Zhang Lian, you can't believe his words." Kai Yuan still wanted to argue. Zhang Lian's face darkened. "What? You mean I don't know right from wrong?" Seeing that Zhang Lian was angry, Kai Yuan's face changed drastically, and he said hurriedly, "Senior brother Zhang Lian, I didn't mean that." Zhang Lian is not Luo Cheng, so he doesn't dare to offend him. Zhang Lian waved his hand and said, "Take them down." Several handyman disciples hurriedly stepped forward and carried Kai Yuan and others down. Luo Cheng glanced at Zhang Lian unexpectedly. He originally thought that there would be another dispute over this matter, and he might even be punished, but he didn't expect it to be resolved so easily. Zhang Lian seemed to know what Luo Cheng was thinking, and said calmly, "I'm not helping you. If you win, what you say is the truth. If you lose, maybe I will report the matter to Elder He." Luo Cheng nodded. After experiencing these things, he finally understood what it means to respect the strong. One's own strength is the eternal truth. If the strength is not strong enough, what is reasonable will become unreasonable. You have to get stronger quickly. Luo Cheng thought of Qin De Yuan, Jin Min, son Ingyang and his son, and the Ji family. Zhang Lian said, "You go and rest. I will arrange the remaining tasks. I will take you everywhere to get familiar with it tomorrow." "Thank you very much." Luo Cheng turned and left. The newly promoted handyman disciples all looked at Luo Cheng with envy and were very jealous. They still had to work, but Luo Cheng didn't have to do anything. The difference is as big as heaven and earth. However, given Luo Cheng's strength, even if they were dissatisfied, they would not dare to say anything. Luo Cheng went back to pick up his luggage, came to the area where third-level warriors of the mortal realm lived, and chose a secluded room. The room was more than 10 square meters in size, with only one bed and a stone table. Although it is simple, it is countless times better than Daytongpu. After putting away his luggage, Luo Cheng immediately prepared to practice. His current goal is very clear, which is to break through the 3 realms of Tongxian and enter the outer gate as soon as possible. He directly took out a Samsung pill and swallowed it orally. Suddenly, surging vitality roared and impacted within his body. Buzz! As the true dragon art circulates, the dragon energy in the Dantian cyclone begins to swim violently, and the speed of the vitality vortex becomes faster and faster. At night, the power of a 3-star pill was gradually exhausted. Without any hesitation, Luo Cheng took out another 3-star pill and took it. If anyone nearby saw this scene, they would definitely be shocked and speechless. An ordinary 3-star elixir is worth more than 200,000 taels. If it is a 3-star elixir, it is worth 600,000 to 700,000 taels. Except for those children of aristocratic families, few people can be as luxurious as Luo Cheng. Value comes second. Ordinary third-level mortal transformation warriors would not dare to take the 3-star elixir continuously like this. Otherwise, at least the vitality in the body will be mixed, which will affect the effectiveness of cultivation and waste the elixir in vain. If it is too severe, the muscles and veins will not be able to bear it and will be injured. Luo Cheng had no such concerns. After cultivating the ultimate body-tempering realm, coupled with the true dragon art, his physique is far superior to that of warriors in the same realm. The pure medicinal power tempered by the 9-color scales also greatly reduces the side effects of taking the elixir. The night passed quickly. At dawn, Luo Cheng stopped practicing. Opening his eyes, Luo Cheng frowned slightly. The dragon energy in the vortex of vitality has clearly shown signs of transformation. Luo Ben thought that this practice would allow the dragon Qi to complete its second transformation and the true dragon art to break through to the second level. However, after a night of practice, the dragon's energy did not change at all. Could it be that only by devouring beast souls, martial souls, true dragon art can a breakthrough be achieved quickly? Luo Cheng thought of the key. After devouring the martial soul last time, his true dragon art was successfully promoted to the 1st level. You must find opportunities to devour beast souls and martial souls. Luo Cheng pondered in his heart. Although there was no progress in the true dragon art, this night was not without success. 2 3-star pills significantly improved Luo Cheng's physique. His breathing became deeper and more powerful. Between his breaths, his lungs felt like a big bellows, and his bones felt faintly numb. It seems that it won't be long before we can reach the 4th level of Mortal Transformation Realm. Luo Cheng's eyes were filled with joy. At the 4th level of Mortal Transformation, the warrior's vitality enters the marrow, cuts off the hair and cleanses the marrow, refines the marrow like frost, and possesses the power of 9 oxen and 2 tigers. At that point, the warrior's body will transform again, and his strength and defense will be greatly improved. Seeing that it was getting late, Luo Cheng tidied the bed and walked out. Senior brother Luo Cheng. 2 newly promoted handyman disciples passed by, and when they saw Luo Cheng, they saluted with stiff faces. In their hearts, they looked down upon Luo Cheng, who had awakened the useless martial spirit. However, after what happened yesterday, they did not dare to be disrespectful to Luo Cheng in the slightest. Luo Cheng nodded and didn't go far when he saw Zhang Lian. Zhang Lian came over and said with a smile, "Come on, I will take you around, and you can get familiar with the area you are responsible for." Good. The 2 of them walked deeper into the building complex. On the way, Zhang Lian introduced many things about the handyman disciples to Luo Cheng. There are more than 100,000 miscellaneous disciples of Xianyuan sect, and they are divided into areas according to the peaks where they live. The mountain peak they were on was called Ziyun Peak. There were more than 3,000 servant disciples who were responsible for the food and daily life of the nearby outer sect disciples and elders, the management of medicinal fields, the raising of monsters, and other chores. In short, all the dirty work belongs to the handyman disciples. Luo Cheng cursed in his heart. This was just like the servants in the family. Zhang Lian smiled and said, "It's hard work, but the pay is also good. In addition to martial arts skills, our handyman disciples can receive vitality pills according to their cultivation level every month, and the elders will give lessons every month. Even if you cannot break through the 3 realms of Tongxian and leave the sect after 3 years, you will still have face if you tell us." Luo Cheng nodded. With the title of disciple of Xianyuan sect, he will be looked down upon wherever he goes. "Senior brother Zhang Lian, where can I hunt monsters around here?" Luo Cheng thought of the true dragon Ju and asked, "If you want to improve the true dragon art as soon as possible, you must swallow the beast's soul. Hunting monsters? I'm afraid that's not possible. Without special reasons, handyman disciples are not allowed to go out at will." Zhang Lian shook his head, looked at the mountains in the distance hidden by the clouds, and said with envy, "I really envy those outer disciples. As long as they complete the sect's tasks every month, they can go out to practice at any time. Unlike us, we have no freedom at all." "Is this so?" Luo Cheng frowned slightly. As a result, it would be difficult for True Dragon Ju to be promoted. While the two were talking, they walked forward, turned around a mountain road, and a white jade square appeared in front of them. "Senior brother Zhang Lian, who is this?" 3 handyman disciples were cleaning the mountain path. When they saw Zhang Lian, they immediately came up to him and looked at Luo Cheng curiously. Zhang Lian introduced, "This is senior brother Luo Cheng. He will replace Li Hui in the future. I've met senior brother Luo Cheng." "Hello, senior brother Luo Cheng." The 3 people immediately saluted Luo Cheng enthusiastically. Xianyuan sect has hundreds of thousands of servant disciples. Those elders are busy with their own cultivation, so naturally they are too lazy to care about the affairs of the servant disciples. Inspectors like Luo Cheng and Zhang Lian have a lot of power. In one sentence, they can sometimes even decide their stay. Luo Cheng nodded and said, "I'll just take a look and you can go about your business." Just as Luo Cheng was about to leave, 2 handyman disciples suddenly surrounded him. Each took out 2 vitality pills and stuffed them into Luo Cheng's hands respectfully. "This is..." Luo Cheng looked at the vitality pill in his hand, wondering why. Plop! At this time, another handyman disciple suddenly knelt down and prayed to Luo Cheng in fear. "Senior brother Luo Cheng, can you give me a few days of grace for this month's monthly payment?" "Monthly payment? What monthly payment?" Luo Cheng was even more surprised when he looked at the frightened handyman disciples kneeling on the ground. The young man was 14 or 15 years old and was thin. Seeing that Luo Cheng did not agree, he was so anxious that he almost cried and choked with sobs. "Senior brother Luo Cheng, please give me a few more days of grace. I will definitely find a way to make up for my monthly payment." A handyman disciple next to him couldn't help but said, "Brother Luo Cheng, something unexpected happened at Junior Brother Yu's home. The village where he lived was attacked by horse bandits, and his mother was in critical condition. That's why I sent this month's vitality pill back. Return it. Please be kind to senior brother Luo Cheng and grant me a few days of grace." Luo Cheng looked at Zhang Lian beside him. Zhang Lian pulled Luo Cheng aside and said, "You should know that our handyman disciples can receive a certain number of vitality pills every month based on their cultivation level. Physical tempering realm warriors can receive 3 vitality pills every month. Mortal transformation realm warriors can receive anywhere from 4 to 9. Luo Cheng nodded. He saw all this in Xianyuan Lu. "What about the monthly payment?" "There is no such thing in Xunyuan Lu." "Of course it won't be in Xunyuan Lu. Zhang Lian showed a wry smile, looked around, and whispered, "The so-called monthly payment is the first payment that the handyman disciples need to pay to the superiors every month. You can just understand it as a protection fee." Luo Cheng was quite surprised. "Protection money? Who should I give it to?" Zhang Lian pointed upward. "Of course they are the people above. Li Hui used to be responsible for this, and then handed the first payment of each month to Elder He. As for whether there is anyone behind Elder He, I don't know." Luo Cheng frowned. "There is such a thing." Zhang Lian chuckled. "Wherever there are people, there are rivers and lakes. Think about it. Even if each of the hundreds of thousands of handyman disciples in the outer sect is only exploited for one vitality pill, that is still a huge fortune. Wealth and silk touch people's hearts, and practitioners are not saints, so naturally it is the same." Shaking his head, Zhang Lian glanced at the disciple kneeling on the ground and said with some sympathy, "Other peaks are okay. Each person only needs to pay one vitality pill per month. Some elders are wise and don't even need to pay the first payment. Unfortunately, he is in our Ziyun Peak. The body-tempering realm handyman disciples at Ziyun Peak need to pay a monthly fee. Pay 2 vitality pills. So much." Luo Cheng was surprised. A handyman disciple in the body-tempering realm only has 3 vitality pills every month. If he pays 2 at once, how can he still practice? Isn't there anyone in charge? Luo Cheng frowned. Zhang Lian smiled bitterly. "Our handyman disciples, to put it nicely, are disciples of the Xinyuan sect, but to put it badly, we are just coolies. Who among those figures in the clouds would care about the life and death of the handyman disciples? Moreover, not everyone needs to pay the down payment. Those who have the potential to be promoted to outer disciples will not be embarrassed. The ones who suffer are those with average talents and no background. Just like them, they can only be slaughtered." Zhang Lian pointed to the 3 handyman disciples next to him. Hearing this, Luo Cheng couldn't help but clench his fists and felt a rush of hot blood rushing to his face. He thought of all the experiences he experienced after awakening his martial soul. Just because he awakened the useless martial spirit, he was despised and made things difficult for him everywhere. Does it mean that people with poor talents are not human beings? Are the handyman disciples not human beings? You can only let those who are above you take advantage of you. Trampling on dignity. If he hadn't defeated Li Hui, would he have to give up his own vitality pill every month if he awakened the useless martial soul? Suck it up. Call. After a long time, Luo Cheng exhaled a deep breath, came to his junior brother, and said, "Get up." Junior brother, you looked at Luo Cheng with fear. Senior brother Luo Cheng, have you agreed? Luo Cheng didn't say much. He just returned the 4 vitality pills to the other 2 handyman disciples, and then took out a few more vitality pills and placed them in the hands of his junior brother Yu. "You accept this and practice well." Luo Cheng still has a net worth of several million taels, and a few vitality pills are nothing to him. Senior brother Luo Cheng, what is this? The 3 of them looked at Luo Cheng in surprise. Zhang Lian was also surprised. "Luo Cheng." Luo Cheng waved his hand, turned around, and walked towards the white jade square in the distance. Luo Cheng knew that with his current strength, nothing could be changed. However, he was not willing to join the others. Junior brother Yu was stunned for a moment. Looking at the vitality pill in his hand, his eyes immediately turned red, and he bowed deeply to Luo Cheng. "Thank you, senior brother." Zhang Lian quickly caught up with Luo Cheng, hesitated several times, and finally said, "Luo Cheng, why did you do this?" "It's nothing, I just want to do it." Luo Cheng's tone was calm. He is not a good person, he just doesn't want to violate his own principles. Zhang Lian was stunned and sighed. The interests involved here are too great. If you do this, I'm afraid you will offend Elder He. Luo Cheng naturally knew this. However, he has offended many people and does not care about one more. Zhang Lian was silent for a moment and suddenly said seriously, "No matter what others say, I, Zhang Lian, admire you." Luo Cheng smiled and said, "Let's go and take a look at the square in front." There seem to be many people who don't know what's going on. Zhang Lian looked at the square and said, "This is the Qingyun trial. It has been released for a long time." Qingyun trial? Zhang Lian nodded and explained, "The Qingyun trial is an annual event for the handyman disciples. In addition to generous rewards, the top 10 handyman disciples can even directly enter the outer sect and become outer sect disciples. Go straight into the outer door." Luo Cheng's eyes lit up. Zhang Lian nodded, then smiled bitterly and said, "Let's not think about it. Every year in the Qingyun trial, the top 10 results are all at the 5th level of the mortal realm. Occasionally, there are 1 or 2 dark horses, which are at least the mortal realm. The 4th realm. Go and see." Luo Cheng couldn't wait and walked quickly towards the square. The square is 100 feet long and wide and is paved with square dolomite jade, making it magnificent. At the front of the square, there is a high wall with a huge notice posted on it. The 4 golden characters of Qingyun trial are extremely eye-catching. Below the notice, a large group of people gathered, all looking up at the contents of the notice. Luo Cheng then looked around. It's actually somewhat similar to a hunting convention. Luo Cheng couldn't help but mutter. The content of the Qingyun trial is to hunt monster beasts on Qingyun Island near Xinyuan sect, and the final ranking will be based on the total points of hunting monster beasts. In addition to the top 10 who can directly enter the outer gate, the rewards of Qingyun trial are also very generous. The first place will be rewarded with 500 vitality pills, the second place with 300 vitality pills, the third place with 200 vitality pills, and the 10th place with 30 vitality pills. As long as they enter the top 100, everyone can receive 10 vitality pills as a reward. Except for warriors at the 6th level of mortal realm, all handyman disciples can participate in the Qingyun trial. Zhang Lian gave an explanation as to why warriors at the 6th level of mortal realm were not allowed to participate. The Qingyun trial itself is to inspire the handyman disciples and give everyone hope. Disciples at the 6th level of mortal transformation realm already have the opportunity to advance to the 3rd level of Tongxian realm. What's more, a warrior at the 6th level of mortal realm has a keen spirit. His energy is like fire, his body possesses the power of 2 images, and his strength can reach 50,000 kilograms. It can be described as a ferocious beast in human form, so powerful. If these people participate, the Qingyun trial will lose its competitive meaning. The date of Qingyun's trial is September 17th. Isn't that tomorrow? Luo Cheng's pupils shrank when he noticed the start date of Qingyun trial. The Qingyun trial announcement has been released for half a month, and the opening date is September 17th. Today is September 16th. In other words, tomorrow is the day when the Qingyun trial begins. Today is the last day to register. Luo Cheng didn't expect such a coincidence. He happened to catch up and immediately said to Zhang Lian, "Zhang Lian, where can I sign up for the Qingyun trial?" "No, that's over there. You just need to hand over your identity card to register and pay the registration fee for 3 vitality pills." Zhang Lian pursed his lips to the other side of the square. There was a stone table with an elder sitting behind it and many people surrounding it. Luo Cheng immediately walked towards the stone table. Zhang Lian reacted and quickly chased after him. "Luo Cheng, what are you going to do?" Luo Cheng smiled and said, "What else can I do? Of course, sign up." Zhang Lian was stunned for a moment, then lowered his voice and said, "I'm afraid I didn't explain it clearly. The Qingyun trial is not just about hunting monsters and winning points. The Qingyun trial, you can't help but kill and fight privately. Once you land on Qingyun Island, you will no longer have the protection of the sect's rules. Many powerful disciples will choose to rob other contestants in order to enter the outer sect. Every year in the Qingyun trial, many people die. Listen to my advice and give up. It won't be too late to join again after you break through to the 4th level of mortal transformation realm." Zhang Lian recounted the horror of the Qingyun trial. In the last Qingyun trial, there were nearly 7,000 contestants and more than 1,000 casualties, nearly 20% of the contestants. "Can't we just kill and fight privately?" Luo Cheng pondered. He didn't expect that the sect's training could be so cruel. However, he never thought about giving up the registration. Although he is only at the 3rd level of the mortal realm, his strength exceeds 15,000 kilograms, which is stronger than the average 4th level warrior of the mortal realm. This does not include the 4-style Tianyun sword technique and his Zhongyue boxing technique at the perfection level. Luo Cheng thought to himself that with his current strength, he still had the ability to protect himself when participating in the Qinyan trial. He offended the outer sect Elder Qin de Yuan, the core disciple Jin Min, and now there is an elder he. Luo Cheng is very aware of his current situation and must establish a foothold in Xinyuan's sect as soon as possible and become an outer disciple. In addition, Luo Cheng had another reason to participate in the Qinyan trial. To break through the true dragon art, you must swallow the beast soul and martial soul. The Qinyan trial is undoubtedly an excellent opportunity. Should not be missed. Zhang Lian, thank you very much. I am sensible. Luo Cheng smiled at Zhang Lian, turned around, and walked towards the registration office. You? Zhang Lian was speechless. Did this guy hear what he said clearly? This is really going to kill someone. The two came to the registration office, and Luo Cheng was about to go in and register. Zhang Lian, what are you doing here? Do you think you, a loser, dare to sign up for the Qinyan trial? A sinister voice sounded nearby. Luo Cheng turned around and took a look. He is a young man in black, with narrow eyes and a sullen nose, giving people a sinister look with a disdainful smile on his lips. The handyman disciples around seemed to be afraid of this person and dispersed, leaving only Luo Cheng and Zhang Lian. Zhang Lian looked sullen and said coldly, Han Feng, don't bully others too much. So what if I bully you? The young man in black named Han Feng didn't care at all. He looked down at Zhang Lian with a pair of narrow eyes and sneered. With such a loud voice, do you dare to sign up for the Qinyan trial with me? If you don't dare, get out of here. You are a disgraceful piece of trash. Zhang Lian clenched his fists tightly, his face gloomy, and finally moved away helplessly. Haha, he is indeed a waste. Han Feng laughed wantonly and was extremely arrogant. Luo Cheng frowned and asked in a low voice, Who is this person? Zhang Lian gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice, Han Feng, a person from nearby Lan Ling Peak. He has a very strong and domineering personality and is ruthless. He has always held a grudge against me because I stopped him from molesting our female Ziyun Peak disciple. It's a pity that he broke through the 4th level of mortal realm very early and is very strong. I am no match for him. Zhang Lian sighed, suddenly lowered his voice, and reminded, Luo Cheng, you must be careful. Han Feng is an extremely dangerous person, and he will be punished. He and Li Hui are good friends. If he knew that you defeated Li Hui, I will never let you go. Oh, Luo Cheng glanced at Han Feng lightly. Han Feng immediately noticed Luo Cheng. Apart from Zhang Lian, Luo Cheng was the only one present who did not step away to make way for him. Who are you? How dare you not get out of here? Han Feng's eyes fell on Luo Cheng, and he asked sternly. Luo Cheng raised his brows. This man was indeed arrogant and domineering. He said expressionlessly, Luo Cheng. When Zhang Lian heard this, he secretly told Luo Cheng to be careful. He even dared to expose his name and hurriedly said, Let's leave quickly. Wait. Han Feng waved his hand to stop Zhang Lian, who was about to leave. He stared at Luo Cheng, and his pupils suddenly shrank. Luo Cheng, was it you who defeated Li Hui? Good. Luo Cheng nodded. Han Feng raised the corners of his mouth slightly, looked Luo Cheng up and down, and said coldly, Did you know that Li Hui is my good friend? What if you know? So what if you don't know? Luo Cheng spoke indifferently. Han Feng narrowed his eyes slightly, cracked his knuckles, and smiled solemnly. Yes, you are very brave. You dare to talk to me like this. Unfortunately, being brave is not a good thing sometimes. Do you know the consequences of contradicting me? Luo Cheng shook his head. I don't know, and I don't need to know. Get out of the way. You're in the way. Hiss. Hearing Luo Cheng's words, The handyman disciples around him took a breath. They all know how terrifying Han Feng is. He relies on his good relationship with Lan Lingfeng, the elder in charge, to dominate the world. No one who offends him has a good ending. No one expected that Luo Cheng would be so bold as to tease the tiger's beard in front of him. Really? What did you say? Hearing Luo Cheng's words, Han Feng suddenly became angry, with murderous intent surging in his eyes like a poisonous snake. Since you are looking for death, then I will help you. Han Feng roared angrily. His clothes were still wet, and he was about to take action. Crucial moment. Han Feng, stop! Zhang Lian stood in front of Luo Cheng. Han Feng's face was livid, and he said angrily, "What? You want to stand up for him? Then I will fix you both today." Zhang Lian's face changed slightly, and he raised his voice and said, "Han Feng, don't forget the sex rules, and private fights are prohibited. Could it be that you don't even take the elders seriously and want to violate the rules in person?" The movement here has attracted the attention of the registered elders, who glanced indifferently. Han Feng's face suddenly trembled. He snorted coldly, stared at Luo Cheng, and said, "Boy, you're lucky today. However, you don't get this kind of luck every day. Next time we meet, I will make you kneel on the ground and lick the soles of my shoes." Luo Cheng was too lazy to pay attention, walked to the stone table, and handed over 3 vitality pills and identity tokens. "Elder, I want to participate in the Qingyun trial." The elder who signed up was an old man in black clothes. He took the vitality pill and the identity token and injected a burst of vitality into the token. Buzz! The vitality on the identity token surged, and Luo Cheng's information emerged. Luo Cheng. A look of surprise flashed in his eyes, and the old man in Xuani couldn't help but glance at Luo Cheng. This was the first time that the useless martial spirit had entered the Xinyuan sect. This matter had been spread among the outer sects, and he had also heard about it. After pondering for a moment, the old man in Xuani couldn't help but ask, "Do you really want to participate in the Qingyun trial? Do you know the rules of the Qingyun trial? Once you land on the island, you can only rely on yourself for everything." It had only been 2 days since Luo Cheng entered Xinyuan sect, and no one had ever participated in the Qingyun trial so quickly. Moreover, the old man Xuani also heard about the conflict between Luo Cheng and Qin De Yuan, so he couldn't help but remind him. Luo Cheng knew that the other party had good intentions and nodded. "Thank you, elder, for reminding me. I understand everything." The old man in Xuani shook his head. Every year, many handyman disciples who were in the early stages of transformation to the mortal realm participated in the Qingyun trial out of curiosity or with a sense of luck. Unfortunately, most of the people who died in the end were also these people. "Forget it. I have no right to stop it." Thinking of this, the old man in Xuani registered Luo Cheng's information and said, "Gather here tomorrow at Chunshi and set off to Qingyun Island." "Yes." Luo Cheng put away his identity token. At this time, Han Feng and Luo Cheng passed by each other. Seeing Luo Cheng sign up for the Qingyun trial, Han Feng grinned his white teeth. "Boy, I hope you don't run into me on Qingyun Island." With a sneer, Han Feng slapped 3 vitality pills and identity tokens on the stone table. "I sign up for the Qingyun trial. I'm really looking forward to meeting you." Looking at Han Feng, who was full of pride, Luo Cheng whispered and turned to leave. Zhang Lian hurriedly followed. "Luo Cheng, do you really want to participate in the Qingyun trial?" Zhang Lian asked. Luo Cheng nodded. Zhang Lian couldn't help but remind him, "If you meet Han Feng then, you must run away immediately." Luo Cheng smiled and said, "Is it that exaggerated?" Zhang Lian nodded heavily and said seriously, "It's not an exaggeration at all. Han Feng is very scary. As early as last year, he broke through the 4th level of the mortal transformation realm and practiced 4-star martial arts, as well as 4-star skills, and his combat powers Wuju. Cruel and ruthless. Han Feng has never been defeated within the 4th level of the mortal transformation realm. It is said that his strength is approaching that of a 5th level mortal transformation realm warrior." "Oh, You have never been defeated within the 4th level of Mortal Transformation Realm. Luo Cheng raised his brows, then smiled and said, "This is interesting. I hope he won't run into me." Well, Zhang Lian was stunned. "What do you mean, don't run into me? It sounds like it's Han Feng who should be worried." Zhang Lian was almost speechless. A 3rd-level Mortal Transformation warrior dared not to take Han Feng seriously. The two of them walked around Ziyun Peak again, and then walked towards the residential area. "Luo Cheng, have a good rest, and prepare for tomorrow's Qingyun trial. Leave the rest to me. I'll see you off tomorrow morning." Zhang Liandao. Although the two have known each other for a short time, they get along very well. "Thank you." Luo Cheng nodded. On the way, Luo Cheng learned many things from Zhang Lian. In this Qingyun trial, the number of handyman disciples who have reached the 5th level of the transformation realm is close to 100. There are at least thousands of people who have reached the 4th level of Mortal Transformation Realm. This made Luo Cheng feel a little pressure. Although these people are just handyman disciples of Xianyuan sect, outsiders are all elites and should not be underestimated. It is not easy to stand out from these people. It is even more difficult to get into the top 10. Even so, Luo Cheng never thought of giving up. Even if you can't enter the top 10 and join the outer sect, this Qingyun trial is also an excellent opportunity to break through the true dragon art. It would be great if my cultivation level could break through the 4th level of Mortal Transformation Realm, Luo Cheng said to himself. In this way, even if he encounters an opponent at the 5th level of Mortal Realm, he is confident that he can compete. The two chatted and soon arrived at Luo Cheng's residence. Luo Cheng suddenly stopped and looked forward. This is a corner of a residential area, and few people usually come here. At this moment, a figure stood outside Luo Cheng's room. He is a handsome young man. The boy looks like he is 16 years old. He is wearing green clothes and has a sword on his waist. He has a delicate face and stands there with his hands behind his back. He has an extraordinary temperament. Hearing the sound of footsteps, the young man in green turned around. Lin Jintai. Seeing the young man in green, Zhang Lian was startled and hurriedly whispered to Luo Cheng. This person is Lin Jintai, a trusted disciple of Elder He. He is at the 5th level of the Mortal Transformation Realm and is extremely powerful. He is the top 10 champion in this Qingyun trial. One of the favorites. The top 10 favorites to win the championship. Luo Cheng couldn't help but narrow his eyes. He also felt the pressure from the other party. Compared to Han Feng, this person is many times stronger. Zhang Lian's voice became even lower. The representative of Lin Jintai is Elder He, who rarely shows up. I'm afraid he appears here because he is here for you. For the first time, Luo Cheng nodded, and that was the only reason. At this time, Lin Jintai came over. Glancing at Zhang Lian, Lin Jintai's tone left no room for doubt. "Let's go." Yes. Although Zhang Lian felt uncomfortable, he did not dare to refute. He glanced at Luo Cheng and turned to leave. Turning his gaze, Lin Jintai looked at Luo Cheng playfully. "I didn't expect that you, a loser who awakened the useless martial spirit, could defeat Li Hui. It's really surprising." Luo Cheng frowned. "Another person who talks nonsense and keeps his mouth shut. Is something wrong?" Luo Cheng's tone also turned cold. Lin Jintai raised his eyebrows and said calmly, "Originally, I was preparing for the Qingyun trial, and I wasn't going to get involved in trivial matters. However, I heard some things. Some people didn't follow the rules and didn't accept the first payment. So I had to personally let's take a trip. This is indeed what happened." Luo Cheng narrowed his eyes slightly, but did not speak. Lin Jintai walked slowly towards Luo Cheng and said slowly, "Physical tempering realm disciples pay the first payment of 2 vitality pills every month. This is the rules set by Elder He. You have just arrived, so don't blame me for not understanding the rules. But I don't hope there will be a next time." Luo Cheng's face was expressionless. "I only heard about the sect's rules in Xianyuan Lu." "Oh." Lin Jintai was stunned for a moment. A cold light flashed in his eyes, and then he smiled softly. "I didn't realize that you have quite a character. However, the strong are respected and the weak obey. This is the truth. The rules have always been governed by the strong, formulated by the author. I'm going to tell you my rules now. There are two paths in front of you. One like Li Hui, be an obedient dog and do things well. You could get 10 more vitality pills every month. As for the second way, with a sneer, Lin Jintai stretched out his hand on Luo Cheng's shoulder and patted it twice. I will come see you again after the Qingyun trial is over. I hope your choice does not disappoint me. Lin Jintai smiled meaningfully, turned and left. Please collect, recommend, and vote monthly. Thank you for your support. Cac. As soon as Lin Jintai left, something changed suddenly. The bluestone floor tiles under Luo Cheng's feet suddenly cracked, and he stumbled back a few steps. Looking at Lin Jintai's retreating back, Luo Cheng's eyes were cold. Just now, Lin Jintai seemed to have lightly patted him twice, but in fact, each pat contained hidden energy, weighing thousands of kilograms. If he were an ordinary third-level mortal transformation warrior, he would definitely suffer serious hidden injuries after enduring these two blows. Luo Cheng knew clearly that this was a warning given to him by the other party, to make him agree to board the pirate ship, help Elder he exploit the handyman disciples, and help the evildoers. However, the two of them have no grievances. As soon as the other party met, they attacked so harshly, which shows their viciousness. Lin Jintai, I remember these two actions. I will repay you one day. With a cold snort, Luo Cheng turned around and entered the room. After closing the door, Luo Cheng sat cross-legged on the bed and took out a porcelain vase. Tipping the porcelain bottle over, 8 3-star pills rolled out, with different colors, emitting strong energy fluctuations. Fight! Looking at the 3-star pill in his hand, Luo Cheng's eyes were firm, and there was a hint of madness. The arrival of Lin Jintai made Luo Cheng realize that if he could not become an outer disciple as soon as possible and gain a firm foothold, his situation in the Xinyuan sect would be extremely bad in the future, and he would have no choice but to be a mermaid. Not to mention others, Elder he alone would not let him go. Luo Cheng decided to give it a try to see if he could break through the 4th level of Mortal Realm before the Qingyun trial began. As long as he breaks through the 4th level of Mortal Realm, Luo Cheng is confident that he will compete for the top 10 in the Qingyun trial. I hope I can succeed in one fell swoop. Luo Cheng took out 2 3-star pills and swallowed them in one gulp without hesitation. If others saw this scene, they would definitely be shocked and dumbfounded, thinking that Luo Cheng was crazy. Ordinary Mortal Realm warriors should be careful when taking the 3-star elixir. Like Luo Cheng, swallowing 2 3-star pills at once is simply courting death. Boom! As soon as the 2 3-star pills fell into his stomach, it was like a volcano erupting and a meteor falling. The violent vitality rushed towards Luo Cheng's limbs and bones like a torrent. Luo Cheng's whole body immediately began to tremble involuntarily, and blood streaks protruded from his skin, as if they would burst and explode at any time. Come on, come on. Luo Cheng closed his eyes tightly. His face was pale, and his teeth were chattering. The moment the 2 3-star pills exploded, he felt as if his whole body was about to be torn apart. Every inch of flesh, skin, and bones was experiencing the impact of vitality like a volcanic eruption. Success or failure depends on this. Luo Cheng's heart was as strong as iron, and he roared in his heart. He held back the severe pain in his body and used his full strength to run the true dragon art. Hold head high. A loud dragon roar erupted from Luo Cheng's dantian. The dragon energy that had just begun to take shape seemed to be getting excited, turning over rivers and seas in the vortex of vitality, riding the waves and riding the tide. When Luo Cheng was practicing crazily, Lin Jintai came to an exquisite courtyard. The small courtyard is backed by a pine forest, and in front is a small pool with lotus leaves dotted in it. It is exquisite and quaint, completely different from the place where the handyman disciples live. Come in. Elder He's voice came from the courtyard. Lin Jintai entered the courtyard. In the yard, there is an ancient willow tree, and under the tree is a stone table. Elder He, who is slightly fatter, is sitting there in brocade clothes, pouring and drinking by himself, which is quite comfortable. Elder Lin Jintai saluted respectfully. Elder He nodded and asked, "How was the matter handled? The boy should have agreed, right?" Lin Jintai was silent for a moment and shook his head. "Oh." Elder He was a little surprised, put down the teacup in his hand, and said with a smile, "I didn't expect there to be such a person in the world, but I am blind. Can you explain the powerful relationship here?" Lin Jintai said, "I made it very clear and gave him a lesson. However, I don't think this guy will change his mind easily." Cack. Elder He frowned slightly, and the teacup in his hand cracked. What a Luo Chung. He doesn't know how to praise. Even I don't look down on him. He is indeed the person introduced by Yunmeng Li. He has no ability, but he has a bad temper. Elder He sneered again and again, with a look of hostility on his face. Lin Jintai said, "Elder, what should we do now? Should we beat him again? Or just stop doing it?" A cruel look flashed in Lin Jintai's eyes. Elder He stood up, pacing back and forth with his hands behind his back, but did not speak for a long time. Lin Jintai said, "Is the elder worried about Yunmeng Li?" Elder He nodded. This kid was recommended by Yunmeng Li to join the sect. The relationship between the two is unclear. Yesterday, Yunmeng Li challenged Yuan Qingying. If Yunmeng Li wins this battle, then she is the true disciple. If you ask about this person then, you will be in a lot of trouble. Lin Jintai nodded. True disciples have the power of life and death. Not to mention a small outer sect elder. Even an inner sect elder would not dare to offend easily. "Elder, I heard some news on the way just now." Lin Jintai changed the topic and said, "This Luo Chung has signed up to participate in the Qingyun trial tomorrow." Qingyun trial. Elder He narrowed his eyes and said with a cold smile, "This kid really has a way to heaven and he won't take it. There is no way to hell, and he just comes here. The Qingyun trial is about life and death. Even if something happens to him by then, we can't blame him." Who? Lin Jintai. If this kid really participates in the Qingyun trial, if you meet him on Qingyun Island, you will kill him without mercy. Elder He had a murderous look on his face. The top dollar he collected every month was such a big piece of meat. He won't allow anyone to ruin his good deeds. Yes. Lin Jintai nodded heavily. Suddenly, Elder He frowned slightly, looked out of the courtyard, and shouted in a deep voice, "Who is coming?" Footsteps sounded, and 5 figures filed in. The cold-faced young man dressed in white at the head was Lin Hong Kong. The remaining 4 people were all outer disciples who had appeared in the entrance examination before. Disciple Lin Hong Kong, I have met Elder He. 5 people reported their names. What are you doing here? Elder He asked doubtfully. Lin Hong Kong said loudly, I am here to send a message on behalf of senior brother Jean Min this time. Jean Min. Lin Jintai next to him was shocked. Jean Min is a core disciple, and as the 8th prince of the Yue dynasty, he can be said to be walking sideways in the Xinyuan sect. His status is so noble that the elders of the outer sect cannot compare with him. Elder He's expression also softened. I wonder what Jean Min wants from me. Lin Hong Kong cleared his throat and said, Among the new servant disciples under your jurisdiction, is there a person named Luo Chung? Luo Chung. Elder He and Lin Jintai's eyes were shocked. Elder He looked normal and said, There is indeed such a person. Is there any problem? Lin Hong Kong said, I heard that he will participate in the Qingyun trial this time. Elder He nodded. I just learned about this. Lin Hong Kong smiled slightly and glanced at Elder He. Luo Chung is an arrogant person. He offended senior brother Jean Min before. Senior brother Jean Min does not want Luo Chung to leave Qingyun Island. Do you understand what to do? Hearing Lin Hong Kong's words, Elder He was secretly happy, but his face remained calm, and he said in surprise, To prevent him from leaving Qingyun Island? What should we do? Lin Hong Kong smiled and said, Elder He, why should you ask questions knowingly? Once this matter is done, senior brother Jean Min will not forget your contribution. Elder He did not agree immediately and said thoughtfully, I heard that Luo Cheng was the person introduced by Yun Mengli to join the sect. I don't know what their relationship is. Yin Mengli and Jin Min are both core disciples, but once Yin Mengli succeeds in this challenge, it will be different. Some things are better to be cautious. It turns out Elder he was worried about this. Lin Han smiled and said, "You don't have to worry about this. Luo Cheng and I are both from Qishan City. I know his background very well. Although he has some relationship with the Ji family, an ancient aristocratic family, he is a bastard abandoned by the Ji family. Yimingli only met him by chance. Maybe she felt pity for him and gave him the identity token. You could just go ahead and do it." Hearing this, Elder He's eyes lit up and he nodded. "I understand." Lin Hong Kong smiled slightly. "Then I will just wait for the good news." After saying that, Lin Hong Kong and others turned and left. Seeing Lin Hong Kong and others walking away, He Chong couldn't help but hold his long beard and said with a smile, "It's true that someone gives me a pillow when I feel sleepy. Now, even if Luo Cheng dies on Qinyan Island, I won't be blamed for the incident." Lin Jintai asked, "Elder, what should we do?" Elder he pondered for a moment and said coldly, "Qinyan Island is too big. Just in case you secretly let out the news. As long as you kill Luo Cheng, you can directly become an outer disciple." Lin Jintai was startled, then smiled sinisterly. Elder is wise. As soon as this news comes out, Luo Cheng will not be able to fly out of Qinyan Island, even if he has wings. There are thousands of handyman disciples who signed up for the Qinyan trial, and only the top 10 could be directly promoted to outer disciples. In comparison, killing Luo Cheng is much easier than competing for the top 10 in the Qinyan trial. You can imagine what kind of waves this news will cause. I'm afraid everyone will look for Luo Cheng and kill him. Not to mention a little Luo Cheng. Even a 5th-level warrior in the mortal transformation realm cannot escape with his wings. Who makes him so disrespectful? Elder he was in a good mood. He eliminated Luo Cheng in one go and accepted a favor from Jin Min. It was a killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The other side, Qin Yuanfeng is visiting Qin Do Yuan. "Uncle, I heard that Luo Cheng signed up for tomorrow's Qinyan trial." After some pleasantries, Qin Yuanfeng directly explained his intention. Qin De Yuan took a sip of tea and scolded with a smile. "I knew you wouldn't make a special trip to visit me. You're just a loser. Why are you so concerned about it? This kid has provoked me several times. Even my uncle doesn't take him seriously and doesn't give him any color. It's hard to understand the hatred in my heart." Qin Yuanfeng's eyes were cold and murderous. If he hadn't been afraid of Yin Mengli, he would have gone to Ziyun Peak and taught Luo Cheng a lesson himself. With Qin Do Yuan here, even if he beat Luo Cheng to pieces, there would be no problem. Qin Do Yuan smiled faintly. "He is just a waste. It is not easy to punish him. I have already informed the 2 disciples who are the favorites to win the championship, Feng Rue and Chao Qing. They're both at the 5th level of Mortal Realm. As long as they meet Luo Cheng, just kill him by the way." Qin De Yuan's tone was calm and casual, as if he had brushed off a piece of dust on his sleeves. When the conversation changed, Qin Do Yuan looked at Qin Yuanfeng and said, "These are all trivial matters. What's important is that you hurry up and practice. I think you will soon break through to the 5th level of Mortal Transformation Realm." Qin Yuanfeng smiled and said somewhat proudly, "It should be within the next few days." Qin Do Yuan said, "Very good. Try to advance to the 3rd level of Tongxian as soon as possible. With your talent, you may not have a place among the top 10 disciples of the outer sect in the future." Hearing this, Qin Yuanfeng's eyes lit up. The top 10 disciples of the Xianyuan sect's outer sect are considered to be the number 1 figures in the entire Dayue dynasty. The night passed quickly. In the room, Luo Cheng worked tirelessly on the true dragon art. That night, he swallowed 5 3-star pills in one breath, which was crazy. After practicing until now, the muscles and veins all over his body began to ache, and every time he circulated his vitality, the muscles and veins felt like being cut by a knife. In this state, the effectiveness of practice will be greatly reduced. However, Luo Cheng did not stop practicing. At this time, The vitality in his whole body was about to stir, and the numbness in his bones became stronger and stronger. This is clearly the most critical moment. Strike while the iron is hot. A determined look appeared on Luo Cheng's eyebrows, and he continued to grit his teeth and persevere. Finally, with a bang, an invisible wave spread from Luo Cheng's body, setting off small whirlwinds in the room. Buzz! A clear sound of bone rumble came from Luo Cheng's body, and many dark black impurities were secreted from all over his body. For a moment, everything was calm. Luo Cheng opened his eyes, and the sharp light flashed away, like the light of a sword with a sharp edge. The vitality enters the marrow and transforms into the fourth level of mortal realm. Luo Cheng's eyes were surprised. This night's crazy practice consumed 5 3-star pills. After taking such a big risk, the effort was not in vain. At this moment, he has officially been promoted to the fourth level of mortal transformation realm. Standing up, Luo Cheng had a look of surprise in his eyes. His body felt different. There is an illusion that the body is as light as a giant, and the whole body seems to have endless strength. Close your eyes and look inside. The bones have a gleaming luster like jade. This is the fourth level of mortal realm. The vitality penetrates into the bones. The hair is cut off and the marrow is washed, and the marrow is refined like frost. It is indeed extraordinary. Luo Cheng muttered to himself in surprise, wanted to test how strong he was now, so he punched out at random. Bang! The fist wind roared in all directions. The air seemed to stir up big waves, and the windows were shaken and rattled. TSK, this punch has at least increased the strength by 10,000 kilograms, reaching 25,000 kilograms. It is comparable to a 5th-level warrior in the transformation realm. Feeling the surging power contained in this punch, Luo Cheng's eyes were shocked. A warrior at the 5th level of mortal realm is reborn. His blood is like mercury, and he possesses the power of 5 tigers. That's 25,000 kilograms. He had just broken through to the 4th level of the mortal transformation realm, and his strength was already equivalent to that of a 5th-level mortal transformation realm warrior. Right now, my strength is equal to that of a 5th-level warrior in the mortal realm. A true 5th-level warrior in the mortal realm has blood like mercury. He is not angry and powerful. His combat power cannot be measured by strength alone. He has to compete for the top 10 in the Qingyun trial. That alone is far from enough. Although he has achieved a breakthrough in cultivation, Luo Cheng is self-aware and is not so arrogant that he can sweep through the 5th-level warriors of the mortal transformation realm. We can only wait until we board Qingyun Island, swallow more beast souls, and let the true dragon art break through. As long as the true dragon art completes its 2nd transformation, Luo Cheng's strength and physique will reach another level. By then, it will be easy to compete for the top 10 in the Qingyun trial. Outside the window, the morning glow is like smoke, and it is almost midnight. Luo Cheng simply washed up, changed into a set of clean clothes, took the meteor star sword, and walked towards the white jade square under the rays of the morning sun. As soon as Luo Cheng left the room, he met Zhang Lian waiting outside. "Luo Cheng, are you okay?" Seeing Luo Cheng come out, Zhang Lian immediately came up to him and asked with concern. Luo Cheng shook his head. "I'm fine." Zhang Lian breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good. I thought Lin Jintai would make things difficult for you." Although Lin Jintai is usually personable, his methods are extremely ruthless. Those who offend him will be disabled unless they die. Otherwise, he would not become He the Elder's right-hand man. Luo Cheng thought of Lin Jintai's 2 palms yesterday, and a hint of gloom flashed in his eyes, which then went away and said with a smile, "Let's go." "Huh?" Zhang Liang was about to leave when his eyes fell on Luo Cheng. He was suddenly startled and said strangely, "What's going on? I feel like you're different from yesterday." Luo Cheng knew that this was because he had broken through the 4th level of the mortal realm. His blood was like mercury slurry, and he was not angry and proud. so he did not hide it and said, I have broken through the fourth level of transformation. What? Zhang Lian's eyes widened. The fourth level of mortal transformation. Luo Qing nodded. Zhang Lian's face was full of envy. You are really amazing. It has been half a year since I awakened the 4-star martial spirit and broke through to the third level of the mortal realm, but there is no sign of promotion. Compared to you, I think I have awakened the useless martial spirit. Luo Qing smiled. He had a good impression of Zhang Lian and had no prejudice against him because of his awakening of the wasted martial spirit. Come on, turn pressure into motivation. It's hard. Shaking his head, Zhang Lian changed the topic and said, Don't talk about that. Congratulations on your promotion to the 4th level of mortal realm. In this way, you will have the power to protect yourself in the Qingyun trial. Maybe you are lucky and can compete for the top 100. Return. Hearing this, Luo Qing smiled lightly. His goal is not just to be in the top 100. When the two arrived at the square was already filled with people and it was completely dark. Luo Qing estimated that there were at least tens of thousands of people present. Among them, the ones with the lowest cultivation level are the first-level warriors of Mortal Transformation Realm, and there are quite a few of them. There are so many people. It seems that the competition in this year's Qingyun trial will be fierce. Zhang Lian said with emotion. Luo Qing nodded. Of the nearly 10,000 handyman disciples, only the top 10 can be promoted to the outer sect. It's one of a kind. As the two arrived, many people looked over. Noticing Luo Qing, some people looked at him strangely. Hey, why is it so cold? Luo Qing, why do I feel that something is wrong with the atmosphere? Zhang Lian frowned slightly. Luo Qing also noticed it and said indifferently, It should be because of my martial spirit. Zhang Lian nodded. Entering the Xianyuan sect with a useless martial spirit was a unique thing. He had been curious about Luo Qing before. At this time, a young man wearing a yellow uniform, holding a spear and with sharp eyes walked over. Senior brother Fong Rue. Seeing the boy in yellow, Zhang Lian became nervous. The young man in yellow didn't even look at Zhang Lian. His sharp eyes fell on Luo Qing with a cold light flashing. Are you Luo Qing? Luo Qing felt a little strange in his heart and nodded in a neither humble nor condescending manner. Not bad. Is there something wrong? Haha, it's nothing. I'm looking forward to meeting you next time. Fong Rue raised the corner of his mouth, left a word, turned around, and walked towards the front of the crowd. Weird, so weird. Zhang Lian looked surprised. Even senior brother Fong Rue came here to say hello to you. Normally, he is above everyone else and doesn't take anyone else seriously. Fong Rue? Is he famous? Zhang Lian nodded heavily. Of course. Fong Rue is also one of the top 10 favorites to win the championship, and his popularity is still higher than that of Lin Jintai. It is said that his strength has already caught up with the 6th-level warrior of Mortal Transformation Realm. Yeah. Luo Qing's eyes were calm. He didn't have much feeling for Fong Rue's strength. It was just a little strange that they didn't know each other, so why did the other party come and greet him specially? Not just Fong Rue. Since entering the square, Luo Qing felt that countless eyes were paying attention to him. At first, Luo Qing only thought it was because he had awakened the useless martial spirit. But at this moment, Luo Qing realized that these looks, including Fong Rue's, were filled with murderous intent. Everyone seems to want to take his life. Look, those 10 people are the top 10 most popular disciples to win this Qingyun trial. Zhang Lian's voice interrupted Luo Qing's thoughts. At the same time, the entire square became noisy, with discussions happening one after another. Luo Qing then looked around. At the front of the square is a high platform. 10 figures stand on the steps under the high platform, standing prominently, keeping a clear distance from other servant disciples. 10 people, 7 men and 3 women, far apart, can still feel the vast and fierce momentum, which makes people involuntarily feel fear. Gu Lingfeng, Yuan Jilan, Fong Rue, Zhuchangshan, Chao Qing, Zhou Ruo. Lin Jintai. These people are so powerful. Of course, they're the top 10 seeded contestants to win this Qingyun trial. Each of them has the ability to sweep away warriors of the same level. It seems that these people must be among the top 10 in this Qingyun trial. 10 people stood together, commanding the crowd and attracting the attention of everyone present. Many people don't even have the confidence to look at 10 people. Too strong. The momentum alone is enough to overwhelm everyone. These are the seeded players to win the championship. I guess no one can match them. Zhang Lian was also deeply impressed by the momentum of the 10 people and muttered to himself in a daze. Top 10 seeded players. Luo Cheng looked at the 10 people with a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. Unlike others, Luo Cheng is thinking about how to defeat these people. As long as he can defeat them, he will definitely have a place among the top 10 in this Qingyun trial. At that time, you can directly become an outer disciple. The scenery is endless. At this time, several eyes fell on Luo Cheng, all from the top 10 seed players. 3 people in total. In addition to Feng Rue, there was Lin Jintai, and the other person was the tall and burly Chao Qing. Chao Qing looked at Luo Cheng, licked his lips, and had a sinister smile on his face, like a lion staring at its prey with murderous intent. Not only Feng Rue, but also Chao Qing is paying attention to you. You have such strong, killing intent. What's going on? Zhang Lian was greatly surprised. Luo Cheng's eyes also darkened. Even Zhang Lian was aware of the murderous intention, so it was definitely not an illusion. In fact, from just now, Luo Cheng felt a sense of crisis being surrounded by wolves. I want to see what you are planning. Luo Cheng's eyes grew colder. His intuition told him that this Qingyun trial would not be easy. Boom! While everyone was discussing, the clouds in the sky suddenly surged violently, and 5 small dots appeared in the sky. The dots grew bigger and bigger, and in an instant, they landed over the square. They were 5 gilded warships that were over 100 meters long. The warships stopped outside the square, and 10 elders flew up and landed on the high platform of the square, including Elder He. Elder He stood up. Suddenly, the originally noisy square became quiet. After giving Luo Cheng a cold glance, Elder He cleared his throat and his voice spread throughout the square. Everyone, welcome to the annual Qingyun trial. This Qingyun trial is in charge of 10 steward elders who are responsible for the miscellaneous disciples. The elders stepped forward one after another and introduced the rules of Qingyun trial in detail. There are countless 2-star monsters on Qingyun Island, and these monsters have been marked by Xianyuan's sect with special means. After the contestants hunt the monsters, they soak their identity tokens in the blood of the monsters, and then they can get corresponding points according to the strength of the monsters. A 2-star junior monster is worth 1 point, and a 2-star top-level monster is worth 6 points. 1-star monsters will not count points. The trial date is 1 day. Anyone who has not returned to the warship before midnight tomorrow will be deemed to have given up. Those who leave Qingyun Island midway will also be disqualified. Elder He looked around the square and said in a deep voice, "Martial arts is a path of thorns. Only by tempering between life and death can you achieve great achievements. In this trial, you will not be able to help but kill. You must remember this. The 4 words can't help but kill, like rolling thunder, spread throughout the square, carrying a chilling meaning that made people feel inexplicably chilled. Everyone present looked shocked, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Elder He glanced at Luo Cheng lightly. Luo Cheng frowned slightly. The sense of crisis surrounded by wolves is getting stronger. The strong killing intent stimulated the skin all over his body, and it felt as if needles were pricking him. However, upon closer inspection, I don't know where this murderous intention comes from. It doesn't seem to be there, but it seems to be everywhere. Oomph. The soldiers are coming to cover up the water and the earth. I want to see who is targeting me." Luo Cheng's eyes were sharp. Strength is confidence. After being promoted to the 4th level of mortal realm, Luo Chung was not afraid, even if he faced the top 10 seed players. Now, press the numbers on your ID tags and start boarding. Elder He's voice sounded again. Luo Chung took out his identity token and looked at it. A 5-character word appeared on it, corresponding to the number 5 warship. The people in the square turned into 5 torrents and began to board the ship. Luo Chung, be careful, Zhang Lian said. Luo Chung nodded, put aside the distracting thoughts in his mind, turned around and walked towards the number 5 battleship. Seeing Luo Chung disappear into the crowd, Zhang Lian was about to leave. At this time, a figure suddenly appeared next to Zhang Lian. Han Feng. Zhang Lian frowned when he saw the person coming. Han Feng glanced in the direction Luo Chung left, grinned, and said, Zhang Lian, this is probably the last time you and this loser will ever meet. Zhang Lian heard something in the other person's words and frowned. What do you mean? Someone wants his life. As long as he kills Luo Chung on Qingyun Island, he can directly become an outer disciple. This news spread early this morning. As long as Luo Chung sets foot on Qingyun Island, he will definitely die. No one can save him, no. What? Zhang Lian was surprised. Kill Luo Chung and directly become an outer disciple. This condition is so amazing, it will definitely make countless people excited. Not to mention Luo Chung, even the top 10 seeded players will inevitably die on Qingyun Island in the face of this situation. There is absolutely no second possibility. Zhang Lian wanted to step forward and stop Luo Chung. However, there was a bustle of people around, and Luo Chung had already walked away. When Zhang Liang opened his mouth, his voice was instantly drowned out. Give up, he will die on Qingyun Island this time. Han Feng's eyes were ferocious, and he said with a smile, I will use his head in exchange for the right to enter the outer gate. Nearly 10,000 participating disciples quickly boarded the warship one after another. With a huge roar, the warship rose into the sky and sailed towards Qingyun Island. Luo Chung, I hope you can return safely. Looking at the 5 warships quickly moving away, Zhang Lian prayed in a low voice. However, there was no confidence in his voice. If what Han Feng said is true, Luo Chung would really have a narrow escape from death when he went to Qingyun Island. No, more dangerous than a narrow escape. 5 warships soared above the clouds, flying forward like sharp arrows. The fierce wind was completely cut off by the cyan light curtain in front of the bow. On the number 5 battleship, many competing disciples sat cross-legged, meditating and adjusting their breath to prepare for the upcoming trial. Luo Chung stood alone on the edge of the deck, looking at the rapidly retreating mountains and rivers below with astonishment. It is incredible that such a large warship can fly in the air. Luo Chung had seen an introduction about this warship in Zunyuanlu. This ship was originally called the Flying Spirit Boat. According to legend, it was created by an unparalleled ancient sect. It can cross the ocean, fly in the air, and is indestructible. Eternal years have passed, and the ancient sect that was once invincible has long been submerged in the long river of history. But the Fatian spirit boat has been passed down. When Luo Chung was lamenting the ruthlessness of the years, he suddenly noticed a cold gaze and turned around to see Han Feng. You're also on the number 5 battleship. It seems that I am very lucky. Han Feng stared at Luo Chung with a smile on his face. Luo Chung was a little speechless. He was able to meet the other party. He said lightly, I think you're not very lucky. Han Feng was not angry and said with a smile, We'll wait and see. You won't be arrogant for long. Luo Chung was too lazy to pay attention anymore and turned his eyes. A quarter of an hour later, the flying spirit boat gradually slowed down and emerged from the clouds. Luo Chung looked down, and a small green island came into view. The island is hundreds of miles in diameter and is surrounded by tributaries of the Luoyan River. The mountains and forests on the island are continuous, green, and delicate, with a majestic peak in the middle. The giant peak is independent, shrouded in clouds and mist, and looks as majestic as the top of it. Viewed from a high altitude, the entire island looks like a piece of green emerald. From time to time, unknown beast roars can be heard from afar. Good Wind uses its power to send me to Qingyun Island, Qingyun Trial. Let this be the starting point of my road to becoming stronger. Looking at the solitary giant peak, Luo Cheng felt a kind of pride that was as high as the sky. The Feitian spirit boat was suspended in the sky above the forest outside the island, gliding slowly. 50 iron ropes hung from the boat and extended into the mountain forest. An elder appeared at the bow of the ship and said loudly, "The Qingyun trial lasts for 1 day. Tomorrow at midnight, the flying spirit boat will return to the sect on time. Now start disembarking in order according to the identity token number. On the 10th, get off the boat." As the elder's voice fell, 50 people immediately stepped on the iron rope and slid downward. Number 51 to number 100, get off the ship. One after another, figures rushed into the boundless mountain forest, disappearing like mud cows into the sea, disappearing without a trace. Whether you are boarding or disembarking now, everything is sorted randomly. This is to prevent the participating disciples from forming cliques early on and causing unfairness. Luo Cheng glanced at the identity token. The number was 613. "What's your number?" Han Feng asked. Suddenly, the atmosphere at the scene changed suddenly, and many people looked at Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng put away his identity token and said indifferently, "No comment." Han Feng's eyes turned cold. At this time, the elder's voice came, "Number 201 to 250, get off the boat." "Boy, I'll wait for you below. Don't run too far." Smiling at Luo Cheng, Han Feng climbed onto the iron rope, glided down, and disappeared into the forest in the blink of an eye. "Number 601 to number 650, get off the ship." Soon, it was Luo Cheng's turn to get off the boat. When he heard that it was his turn, Luo Cheng did not hesitate and slid down along a rope. Boom! His footsteps landed, and Luo Cheng appeared in a swamp. Surrounded by puddles, there are some water willows and shrubs. Luo Cheng glanced around and found no one else. It's no wonder that although 50 people set off at the same time, they landed at different places. In this vast forest, let alone 50 people, even if 50,000 people come in, it is just a drop in the ocean. Hiss! Luo Cheng was about to head to the depths of the island when suddenly, accompanied by a roar, a gray shadow rose into the sky and shot towards him. Die! Luo Cheng was on guard and punched out. With a bang, a gray-green python as thick as an arm was directly punched in the head, white and red splattered all over it. 2-star junior monster gray shadow snake. Luo Cheng's eyes lit up when he saw the corpse. The identity token was removed and stained with a little blood. Suddenly, the character appeared on the identity token. 1.1. Luo Cheng was delighted. "I got a point right away, which was a good start." Luo Cheng has not forgotten the purpose of participating in the Qingyun trial. Seeing no one around, he immediately released his martial soul and began to devour the gray shadow, snake's beast soul. As a small gray snake entered his body, Luo Cheng immediately discovered that the dragon energy in the vortex of vitality became active. Sure enough, devouring beast souls can also help you practice the true dragon art. Luo Cheng was determined. There are countless monsters on Qingyun Island. This time, he wants to devour it to his heart's content. Whoosh! With one step, Luo Cheng swept deeper. Huh, smells so good. Not far away, Luo Cheng suddenly smelled the fragrance, looked around, and fixed his gaze on a puddle 10 meters away. There's a piece of exposed soil in the middle of the puddle, and on it grows a pure white plant that looks like a small snake. The plant glows with a hazy jade light. 3-star elixir, jade snake grass. Luo Cheng's eyes lit up. Unexpectedly, there are not only many monsters and beasts here, but also many natural and earthly treasures. A 3-star elixir worth 2 to 300,000 taels. Jade snake grass is extremely rare, and its value will only be higher. Now there are only 3 Samsung pills left in Luo Cheng's body, and he is short of elixirs. This jade snake grass came at just the right time. Without hesitation, Luo Cheng flew toward the puddle, trying to pick the jade snake grass. The moment he approached the puddle, a sense of alarm suddenly rose in Luo Cheng's heart, and he immediately froze his body. Next moment, wow, a huge wave arose in the puddle, and a huge python as thick as a bucket emerged from the water. Its two cold eyes locked on Luo Cheng. Boom! The huge snake tail, like a sword, hit Luo Cheng hard. What a cunning beast! Luo Cheng gave a low shout, but did not panic and punched him. Bang! The air exploded, and a huge force of 25,000 kilograms directly blasted a large hole in the python's tail, causing a bloody rain on the spot. Roar! The giant python was in pain and roared to the sky. With its big mouth full of fangs, it bit Luo Cheng in one bite, and a fishy wind hit his nostrils. Ziyue, not wanting to delay, Luo Cheng directly used the Zhongyue boxing technique and punched out slowly but quickly, hitting the python's jaw hard. Poof! This punch not only contained tens of thousands of kilograms of power, but also had an indestructible momentum. It exploded the entire head of the giant python at once, and the blood was like a pillar, dyeing the entire puddle red. Luo Cheng took out his identity token, and a 4-character character was revealed on it. For points, it means that this giant python is a 2-star intermediate monster, or a more powerful existence among the 2-star intermediate monsters. Even a warrior at the 4th level of Mortal Realm will have a headache when he encounters it. However, Luo Cheng only used 2 punches to kill him instantly. Luo Cheng was about to pick the jade snake grass when the danger appeared again. A low roar sounded, and 5 demon wolves with clear hair surrounded him from the bushes at the same time, staring at Luo Cheng with bloodthirsty eyes. 2-star low-level demon beast Qinjianlang. Ha! Well done! Luo Cheng was overjoyed. He didn't expect that there were so many monsters on Qingyun Island. After killing one, another batch came. It was simply a paradise for him to practice the true dragon art. Kill. Suiwe. Luo Cheng rushed over directly. Bang, 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 bang. How can a mere 2-star low-level monster stop Luo Cheng? In just one face-to-face encounter, all 5 green-haired wolves were knocked away and fell to the ground, bleeding from their 7 orifices, and died violently. After collecting the points, Luo Cheng sat down cross-legged and began to devour the beast's soul. As the souls of the 6 monster beasts entered the body, the stars in Luo Cheng's martial soul began to shine. The huge energy continuously nourishes Luo Cheng's body, and the dragon energy in the vortex of energy is leaping and leaping, as if it will undergo transformation at any time. If this continues, it shouldn't take long for Dragon Chi to complete its 2nd transformation. After the devouring was completed, Luo Cheng opened his eyes, revealing his surprise. The first change of the true dragon art increased his strength by 5,000 kilograms. Not surprisingly, as long as he completes the 2nd transformation, his strength will reach at least 30,000 kilograms. What concept? When the time comes, even the 5th level warrior of Mortal Realm will not be his enemy with 1 punch. Continue. Luo Cheng held back his excitement and prepared to collect the jade snake grass and continue to go deeper. At this moment, footsteps came from the dense forest nearby. Someone. Luo Cheng frowned slightly, not expecting to meet other people so soon, and stopped. After 2 or 3 breaths, a figure rushed out of the woods. He is a young man in Tsing who is 15 or 16 years old. Jade snake plant. Noticing the jade snake grass, the young man in green looked greedy. He turned to look at Luo Cheng, his eyes bright. It's you. Are you Luo Cheng? You recognize me? Luo Cheng was a little surprised. When did you become a celebrity yourself? Of course I recognize you. You are such a sweet man now. How many people can't find you? The young man in green smiled faintly. I didn't expect that I would be so lucky. I met you first and got a jade snake grass. It seems that God has destined that I, Nan Sheng, will rise to the top from now on and no longer be ordinary. A lot of people are looking for me. Luo Cheng was surprised. Nancheng approached Luo Cheng step by step, raised the corners of his mouth, and said lightly, "You can kill yourself and save me the trouble." Luo Cheng was stunned. The other party is only at the 3rd level of mortal transformation. I don't know where he got such a big tone and asked him to commit suicide. Are you kidding me? Luo Cheng sneered. Am I kidding? Nancheng narrowed his eyes and said proudly, "You can still retain some dignity by committing suicide. If I take action, you may not be able to survive but die." Yeah. Luo Cheng's eyes were cold. He stepped forward, flew out, and punched violently. He has always been too lazy to talk nonsense to such people, things that don't know whether to live or die. Nancheng sneered and also greeted him with a punch. Ah! A shrill scream resounded in the forest, and the entire bones of Nancheng's fist were shattered. Luo Cheng's fist, with its remaining power, hit him hard in the chest. Poof! Squirting out a mouthful of blood, Nancheng's body flew backwards like a meteor and hit a tree hard, bleeding from all his orifices. You are not the 3rd level of mortal transformation realm. Looking up at Luo Cheng, Nancheng's eyes were full of fear, as well as deep reluctance and regret. He spat out a few words, tilted his neck, and died. Chevron under score left. Nancheng got the news that Luo Cheng was just a waste with a 3rd level of mortal transformation and awakened the useless martial spirit. It wasn't until the moment of his death that he realized how wrong everything was. Unfortunately, some mistakes have no chance of regret. Die like this. Luo Cheng looked at the corpse with some regret. Just now, the other party said that many people were looking for him, which made Luo Cheng a little concerned. When he took action, he deliberately restrained his strength and wanted to stay alive. Unexpectedly, the opponent was weaker than he thought, and he died with just one punch. You asked me to commit suicide. I thought you were very strong. Luo Cheng shook his head and soaked the identity token with a little bit of Nancheng's blood. Suddenly, a 5 appeared on the token. 5 points, not bad. Luo Cheng looked pleased. These 5 points were the game points Nancheng had accumulated, and now they were all used as a wedding dress for him. After collecting all the things on Nancheng's body, Luo Cheng immediately began to devour the martial soul. Buzz! Green light shines, and a blade of grass containing 5 stars and shaped like a sword emerges from Nancheng's body, with a compelling aura. It turns out to be a 5-star martial spirit. No wonder he is so arrogant. Seeing Nancheng's martial spirit, Luo Cheng whispered, "Most of the handyman disciples have awakened 3-star martial spirits, and there are fewer 4-star martial souls. The 5-star martial spirit is already outstanding." Buzz! Swallowing the martial spirit, the dragon energy in the vortex of energy began to throb, and the 2 protrusions on the head of the dragon energy became more obvious, as if they would open at any time. This martial soul has an even more obvious effect than the 6 or 7 demonic beast souls it just devoured. The effect of swallowing martial souls on true dragon art is much better than swallowing beast souls. Luo Cheng couldn't help but feel the urge to kill and devour. Shaking his head, Luo Cheng put aside this boring thought. He didn't want to become a murderer. With a flash of his figure, Luo Cheng rushed deeper into the jungle. Qingyun Island is full of ancient trees and forests. Because it is located under the jurisdiction of Xinyuan sect, except for the annual Qingyun trial, no outsiders come or go. In addition, under the management of Xinyuan sect, this place has become a monster, the paradise of beasts. At this moment, this place has also become Luo Cheng's cultivation treasure. In just 1 hour, Luo Cheng killed more than 21-star monsters and more than a dozen 2-star monsters. With such crazy killing and devouring, Luo Cheng's strength improved rapidly. His strength far exceeded that of the 5 tigers, reaching about 26,700 kilograms. If he continues to practice at this rate, within 2 months, Luo Cheng will have the confidence to break through the 3 realms of Tongxian. After devouring the soul of another 2-star monster beast, Luo Cheng discovered that the dragon's eyes in the vortex of vitality opened a small gap, and a trace of fine light bloomed from it. Soon, sensing the change in the dragon's energy, Luo Cheng felt excited. The 9 changes of dragon chi in the true dragon art correspond to the 9 images of the dragon: snake body, rabbit eyes, hump head, mirage belly, fish scales, tiger paws, eagle claws, cow ears, deer antlers. The second level of the true dragon art is the second transformation of the dragon chi. The dragon chi gives birth to a pair of rabbit eyes. Luo Cheng estimated that by devouring at most 30 or 42 star monsters, the true dragon art will be able to break through to the second level. I don't know what my current points ranking is, whether I'm in the top 10. Luo Cheng has been hunting monsters very quickly. However, among the disciples participating in the Qingyun trial, there are dozens of 5th-level warriors in the mortal transformation realm. The competition is quite fierce, and it is not easy to get into the top 10. Continue. After taking a short rest, Luo Cheng continued to delve deeper. After walking for a while, Luo Cheng killed several more 2-star low-level monsters. On the way, he also found 3 corpses. The 3 of them were all wearing the uniforms of Xianyuan sect's handyman disciples, and they were completely damaged. They were all obviously killed by monsters. Seeing this, Luo Cheng felt sad. The road to martial arts was indeed a road of thorns and very cruel. Every strong man broke out from a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. At the same time, Luo Cheng was also secretly vigilant. With his current strength, it would be very dangerous if he encountered a top-level 2-star monster. A 2-star top-level monster, equivalent to a 6th-level warrior in the mortal transformation realm. A warrior at the 6th level of mortal realm. His physical body has transformed to the extreme. His vitality is like fire, his spirit is clear, and his body has the power of 3 wild elephants, which is 75,000 kilograms, which is no small feat. Now he is far from his opponent. Luo Cheng suddenly stopped when he discovered that the body had not gone far. There's a sound of fighting. After practicing the true dragon art, Luo Cheng's perception became more and more acute, and he noticed a fight in the dense forest hundreds of meters away. After hesitating for a moment, Luo Cheng followed the sound and hurried over. Ahead is a dense forest. Through the gaps, you can vaguely see human figures flashing, and from time to time, there are roars of beasts. Luo Cheng walked behind a boulder and took a look. In the woods ahead, there is an open space with a radius of more than 10 feet. At this moment, the clearing was a mess. 5 monster beasts surrounded 2 handyman disciples, a man and a woman. These 5 demonic beasts were huge in size, shaped like jackals, with shiny black hair. When they breathed out, they sprayed out clouds of black mist, causing the nearby vegetation to wither quickly. Luo Cheng recognized that this was the 2-star intermediate monster black mist wolf. It was not very strong and was only equivalent to a 3rd-level warrior in the mortal transformation realm. However, the black mist wolf carries highly poisonous substances all over its body and likes to move in groups. If it is not prepared, once it is poisoned, even a 5th-level mortal transformation realm warrior will suffer. This man and woman are not weak in strength. They are both warriors at the 4th level of mortal realm. However, at this moment, their faces were blue and purple, and they had obviously been attacked by poisonous gas. They could only exert 30% to 40% of their 100% strength, and were forced into danger for a while. Sister Chong, it seems our lives are doomed today. The boy in blue let out a desperate lament. Right now, a figure rushed into the clearing and rushed towards the 2 nearest black fog wolves. Roar! Black Mist Wolf immediately noticed it and turned around to counterattack, but the person coming was faster. Boom! Boom! 2 times, the 2 Black Mist Wolves howled, and their huge bodies were thrown away like broken sacks, falling to the ground with all their internal organs shattered. Kill! The young man in blue was stunned for a moment, and was the first to react. The swords in his hands intertwined with each other, and he cut off the head of the Black Mist Wolf in front of him with one sword. The remaining 2 Black Mist Wolves howled and fled in fear, disappearing into the dense forest in an instant. After escaping from death, the boy in blue took 2 deep breaths, cupped his fists to Luo Cheng, and said, "Thank you for helping me. It's just a little effort." Luo Cheng looked calm. Everyone is a disciple of Xinyuan's sect, so since he has seen it, he will not just sit idly by and ignore it. Poof! At this time, the delicate body of the woman in red clothes trembled. She opened her mouth and spat out a mouthful of black blood and fell softly to the ground. "Sister Chong, take the antidote pill quickly." The boy in blue hurriedly supported the other person, fed him the elixir, and took one himself. Luo Cheng frowned and said, "You should concentrate on detoxifying. I'll stay here." "Thanks." The boy in blue looked grateful. The 2 of them are now poisoned, and their combat effectiveness is less than 30%. Any 2-star monster can kill them. The 2 of them did not dare to neglect and began to regulate their breath and detoxify. Luo Cheng looked at the body of Black Mist Wolf and secretly thought it was a pity. Unable to swallow the beast's soul, Luo Cheng simply sat cross-legged next to him, running the true dragon art to digest what he had gained before. After half a cup of tea, the 2 boys in blue regained their normal expressions and stood up. "Senior brother, Jean Chuan will be here next week. Thank you very much just now. If it weren't for you, junior sister Huang Shang and I would definitely have died here. I wonder who our senior brother's name is." A young man in blue named Zhou Jinchuan cupped his fists at Luo Cheng. Huang Shang, who had a beautiful and delicate face, also looked grateful. Luo Cheng said lightly, "It's a small matter. My name is Luo Cheng." Luo Cheng. After hearing Luo Cheng's reply, their expressions changed slightly. Huang Shang stared at Luo Cheng, a strange light flashing in his eyes. Luo Cheng didn't pay attention to the expressions of the 2 of them. After exchanging names, he looked at the Black Mist Wolf corpse on the ground and said, "These Black Mist Wolf points." Before he could finish speaking, Huang Shang came back to his senses and immediately smiled and said, "Of course it's yours." Luo Cheng nodded, took out his identity token, and stepped forward to collect the points. At this time, Huang Shang took a step closer to Zhou Jinchuan and whispered, "Is he that Luo Cheng?" Zhou Jinchuan nodded slightly. It should be him. Huang Shang's bright eyes lit up, and she stared at Luo Cheng's back. She bit her red lips with her white teeth and said softly, "If you take his head, you can directly enter the outer gate." "This isn't appropriate." Zhou Jinchuan's eyes flashed with complicated light, and he shook his head at Huang Shang. "Snort." Huang Shangqiong wrinkled her nose and said coldly, "Everyone knows this news. Even if we don't take action, there will be others. At worst, we will burn more paper money for him every year from now on." After saying that, Huang Shang glanced at her bright eyes and hummed, "Zhou Jinchuan, are you willing to remain a handyman disciple and eventually be kicked out by Xinyuan's sect? You promised me that you would make a difference for me, and now the opportunity is right in front of you." Zhou Jinchuan frowned. At this time, Luo Cheng finished collecting the points of several Black Mist Wolves, turned around, and said to the 2 of them, "Now that you're fine, let's just say goodbye." His goal is to be among the top 10 in the Qinyan trial, and he has already been delayed a lot of time here. "Luo Cheng, please stay." A smile appeared on Huang Shang's delicate face, and she walked up and said, "This Qinyan island is too dangerous. It is said that there are still 2-star top-level monsters. How about we form a team together and take care of each other? As for the points of the monsters hunted, how about an even distribution?" Luo Cheng simply shook his head. "No need. I'm used to being alone." How could he swallow the beast's soul when others were around? What's more, the 2 of them were only at the level of ordinary 4th-level mortal transformation warriors, and they were not qualified to form a team with him. "Be careful and say goodbye." After saying that, Luo Cheng was ready to leave, etc. Huang Shang didn't expect Luo Cheng to refuse so simply, so he stretched out his hand to stop him. Luo Cheng frowned. "Is there anything else?" Huang Shang rolled his eyes and smiled. "You saved our lives, and we have nothing to repay you. How about this? We will transfer all the previous hunting points to you, which can be regarded as repaying your life-saving grace. Oh, Luo Chung didn't expect the other party to be so polite, so he naturally had no reason to refuse, so he nodded. Okay then. Huang Shang took Luo Cheng's identity token, pinched it with his fingertips, squeezed out a drop of blood, and dropped it on the identity token. Suddenly, the number 35 appeared on the identity token. All the 35 hunting points obtained by Huang Shang were transferred to Luo Cheng. While doing all this, Huang Shang looked at Zhou Jinchuan, standing behind Luo Cheng from time to time, with urging in his eyes. Zhou Jinchuan frowned deeply, and his right hand, holding the handle of the knife, loosened and tightened and loosened again, but never made a move. Annoyance flashed in Huang Shang's eyes, and he handed the token to Zhou Jinchuan with a slightly serious tone. Come on, see how many points you have. Zhou Jinchuan took the token, hesitated for a moment, pulled out the sword with a clang, and cut a small cut on his finger. Blood dripped, and the number 46 appeared on the token. 46 points, plus Huang Shang's 35 points. It was nearly 100 points more hunting points. This made Luo Cheng a little happy. This time he saved people, and finally the rescue was not in vain. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. Huang Shang, who came behind Luo Cheng, had a cold look in his eyes, drew his sword and stabbed Luo Cheng in the back. Not good. Luo Cheng had a keen sense and noticed it immediately, turning his body to the side. Luo Cheng, I'm sorry. At the same time, Zhou Jinchuan shouted coldly, swung the long knife in his hand, and struck Luo Cheng head-on with a blade of light. Damn it! Being attacked from both sides, Luo Cheng's eyes flashed with a fierce look, and he punched the sword hard. Boom! Zhou Jinchuan could hardly hold the long sword and took several steps back. Luo Cheng took advantage of the situation and flew back to the side, but still half a beat slower. Poof! The shadow of the sword flashed, blood splashed, and a finger-long bloody mouth appeared on Luo Cheng's left arm. Luo Cheng's face was livid. He stared at the two of them. His eyes narrowed slightly. Is this how you repay the favor of saving your life? Zhou Jinchuan's face was slightly stiff, and he cannot speak. Huang Shang raised her eyebrows and snorted coldly. It's not our fault. It's just that your life is too valuable. Even if we don't take action, there will be others. Oh, Luo Cheng frowned. My life is valuable? Although the sneak attack was unsuccessful, Huang Shang did not think Luo Cheng had a chance to escape and replied, Not bad. I don't know who you have offended, but the other party promised that as long as he kills you on Qinyan Island, he can directly become an outer disciple regardless of the results of the trial. If you kill me, you can directly become an outer disciple. Luo Cheng was shocked. I finally understood what that strange feeling lingering in my mind was when I was in the square. It turns out that it was no illusion. Huang Shang and Zhou Jinchuan walked one behind the other, blocking Luo Cheng's path. Huang Shang continued, All the handyman disciples who have cultivated above the 3rd level of mortal realm have learned the news. Even if we don't take action, others will take action. From the moment you boarded Qinyan Island, you were destined to be a dead. Instead of taking advantage of others, it's better to take advantage of us. As for the life-saving grace, we will keep it in our hearts. In the future, during the holidays, we will give you more paper money to burn. Hee. Luo Cheng laughed angrily. I will remember it in my heart. What a good thing to remember. Ha 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 ha. Do you think so too? Luo Cheng looked at Zhou Jinchuan. Zhou Jinchuan was speechless for a moment, glanced at Huang Shang, gritted his teeth, and said, Luo Cheng, just accept your fate. Resign yourself to your fate? I saved your lives, but you want to kill me and persuade me to accept your fate. Haha, interesting. It's really interesting. Luo Cheng laughed. Huang Sang frowned slightly, unable to bear Luo Cheng's sarcasm, and said coldly, Jinchuan, stop talking nonsense to him. Clang. Luo Cheng pulled out the meteor star sword, and a calm and indifferent voice sounded. God has given you a chance to live. but it's a pity that you don't cherish it. Whatever. I saved you, so I will send you on your way myself. Giggle. Just you. Disdain flashed in Huang Shang's eyes, and he said to Zhou Jinchuan, "It will be troublesome if others find out. Let's take action together and kill him quickly." Die. Murderous intent emerged in Zhou Jinchuan's eyes, and he slashed hard at Luo Cheng's head with a knife. The blade tore through the air and made a shrill sound. Luo Cheng had no expression on his face and punched out. With a bang, the huge force directly knocked the long knife away. Zhou Jinchuan's pupils dilated, and he couldn't help but fall backwards. Chi! With a flash of sword light, the meteoric sword pierced out like thunder, leaving a bloody hole on Zhou Jinchuan's forehead. Luo Cheng steadied himself, blood churning in his chest. His gaze, cold as iron, locked on Qin Doyuan. He didn't need a reason to know. This man was targeting him. The contempt in his eyes wasn't just disdain. It was judgment, the same cold arrogance that Ji Yuanhao once looked at him with. Lin Hong Kong. Throw him out. Qin Doyuan's voice was calm, but it rang like a death sentence. Gladly, Lin Hong Kong said, eyes glinting with malice. He stepped forward with a few outer disciples, already imagining Luo Cheng's blood on the ground. As long as Luo Cheng stepped outside Xinyuan's sect, he was dead. But, wait! Luo Cheng's voice cut through the tension like a blade. He stood straight and stared directly at Qin Doyuan. Elder Qin Xian is in charge of this assessment. I passed Lianxin Gorge first, broke the record, and Elder Qin Xian himself declared I'd skip the next test. Now you say I'm to be kicked out, with just a word? Is this how Xinyuan's sect treats its own rules? The disciples gasped. Even the outer elders hesitated. Insolence. Qin Doyuan's face twisted in fury. Still talking back? Lin Hong Kong, take him down. If he resists, cripple him. Just then, that's enough. Elder Chun Xian, silent until now, finally spoke. His voice wasn't loud, but it made everyone still. Qin Doyuan narrowed his eyes. Elder Chun, you truly want to admit this waste into our sect? Chun Xian stepped beside Luo Cheng and examined the radiant, unconceived martial spirit glowing behind him. His frown deepened. Even with Luo Cheng's astonishing performance, this spirit was a mystery, powerless, unborn, unranked. Lin Hong Kong seized the moment. Elder Chun, senior brother Jin Min, personally confirmed it. This man awakened a zero-star Wei spirit back in Qishan City. He's arrogant, rude, and even disrespected senior brother. If not for his mercy, Luo Cheng wouldn't even be standing here. Qin Doyuan added sharply, by the rules of Xinyuan's sect, even a handyman disciple must awaken at least a 3-star martial spirit. If word spreads that we admitted someone like him, the other sects will mock us. Elder Qin Xian remained quiet. He was torn. Luo Cheng's will, talent, and performance had been remarkable. But an unconceived spirit, not even a backwater sect would take such a disciple. Then, you arrogant fools, Tuoba Lai finally lost patience. You talk about dignity, but you're ready to eat your own words just to avoid mockery? Who's the real disgrace here? Watch your mouth. Qin Doyuan snapped, and with a flick of his sleeve, released a burst of qi. Roar. Tuoba Lai stood firm as a massive, 3-eyed flame tiger erupted behind him, its red fur ablaze, 9 stars shining on its forehead. The valley trembled. 9-star martial spirit. Gasps echoed everywhere. Qin Doyuan's qi smashed into Tuoba Lai and sent him skidding 10 meters, shirt torn, chest heaving. But Tuoba Lai only grinned and tore off what was left of his jacket. You think that scared me, old man? Just wait. I'll return the favor, and next time, you won't get up. Qin Doyuan didn't respond. He couldn't afford to offend a 9-star genius. At least, not yet. He turned back to Luo Cheng, snarling. You still have time to walk away. Don't embarrass yourself further. Luo Cheng remained still, unfazed. What I do has nothing to do with you. You disrespect Elder Qin. Lin Hong Kong's followers stepped forward, fists clenched. Let us cripple him and toss him out. Luo Cheng ignored them. Calmly, he reached into his robes. and produced a crimson jade token engraved with 3 characters. He held it out to Elder Chen Xian. Look carefully. This was given to me by its owner. She said it guarantees me entry into Xianyuan's sect. Elder Chen Xian's brows rose. He took the token and injected a sliver of vitality. Whoosh! A searing heat erupted as the air shimmered. The characters Yin Mengli glowed from the token's core, exuding an aura that made the disciples instinctively step back. Even Qin Doyuan's expression changed. Where did you get this?" he demanded. Luo Cheng replied coldly, "From the one who owns it. Yin Mengli gave it to me herself." "Lies," Qin Doyuan barked. "That woman would never give this to someone like you." But Elder Chen Xian wasn't listening. He studied the token, then handed it back to Luo Cheng. "Luo Cheng," he said, "I'll make a concession. You will enter Xianyuan's sect, but as a miscellaneous disciple. If you can reach the 3rd stage of Tongxian realm within 2 years, I will formally accept you into the outer sect as my personal disciple." Luo Cheng nodded without hesitation. Deal. He had no intention of taking 2 years. A few months would be more than enough. Lin Hongkong's face darkened. "Elder Chen Xian, if you do this, what will you tell senior brother Jimin?" Silence. Chen Xian's voice exploded like thunder. His aura surged, and with a wave, Lin Hongkong was sent flying, coughing blood. "You dare question me again, and I'll make you an example before the entire sect." Chen Xian's eyes burned like fire. Lin Hongkong collapsed, face pale, too afraid to even rise. Qin Doyuan stepped forward, still bitter. "You would break the sect's rules for him?" Chen Xian's voice cooled. "Qin Doyuan, I don't know what grudge you hold, but be careful how far you let it go. Do you remember what date is? Yunmingli is dueling Yuan Qingying on Fengyan Island. If she wins, she'll become one of our 10 true inheritors with the power of life and death. If she says Luo Cheng is to enter the inner sect, that's all it takes." Qin Doyuan snorted. "Yuan Qingying isn't weak. Yunmengli's dreaming if she thinks she can take her spot." He turned to Luo Cheng and spat. "Fine. Go sweep floors and carry water for 2 years. Let's see if you can crawl to Tongxian with your pathetic, starless spirit." He sneered. He mocked. But Luo Cheng just smiled. Because he knew they wouldn't be laughing for long. The sword light flashed, and the 2 big heads rolled to the ground. Until this moment, Han Feng still did not fall down. He stared at Luo Cheng with a pair of eyes in disbelief, and there was a sigh of relief in his throat. Clang! Luo Cheng sheathed his sword and glanced at Han Feng lightly. "It seems you are not qualified to let me choose." Han Feng's eyes widened, and he didn't know whether it was regret or unwillingness, but he fell to the ground and died. Luo Cheng didn't dare to neglect him. Who knew that Huang Shang's bitch cry just now attracted the attention of many people, and he quickly took away the wealth from several people. The others had nothing on them. The monthly income of handyman disciples is limited, and they have to cultivate themselves, so naturally they will not be rich. Han Feng, on the other hand, actually had hundreds of vitality pills on his body. It seems that he often exploits other handyman disciples on weekdays. After a long night and many dreams, Luo Cheng put away the wealth and immediately started to devour it. What makes Luo Cheng regretful is that those black mist wolves have been dead for too long. Their energy and spirit have been lost, and they can no longer condense their beast souls. Devouring the martial souls of Huang Shang, Han Feng and others went smoothly. There were 5 people in total, except for Han Feng and Zhou Jinchuan, who were 4-star martial souls. The other 3 were all 3-star martial souls. After devouring the martial souls of the 5 people, Luo Cheng did not stop, and his figure disappeared into the dense forest like a wisp of blue smoke. Swish, brush, brush. Not long after Luo Cheng left, figures rushed out of the dense forest one after another, including 20 or 30 people. "Hey, that's Han Feng, and he died here." Everyone was shocked when they looked at the messy, empty space. At this time, a young man wearing blood-colored gold-rimmed clothes, with eyes like an eagle gazing at a wolf, stepped out with several people. Glancing around with cold eyes, the boy in blood-clothed clothes said coldly, "Have any of you discovered the traces of Yin Peak's handyman, disciple Luo Cheng? Senior brother Chao Qing is looking for this person." Everyone looked at each other in shock. They rushed over after hearing Huang Shang scream. How could they possibly know Luo Cheng's whereabouts? After learning that the boy in blood-clad clothes belonged to the top 10 seed player Chao Qing, many people started to think about quitting. Now that you're here, why bother leaving in a hurry? The blood-clothed boy licked his lips and said in a cold voice, "Hand over all your hunting points. When senior brother Chao Qing becomes an outer disciple, your contribution will be indispensable." Hearing this, everyone present turned pale. In every Qingyin trial, there are many incidents of robbing other people's hunting points, but I didn't expect that even the top 10 seed players would participate. "Run!" someone shouted, and everyone immediately dispersed like birds and beasts, fleeing in all directions. "Still want to run?" The bloodthirsty light flashed in the blood-clothed boy's eyes. "Kill me." "Oh." For a moment, screams continued, and the entire dense forest was filled with blood. However, these have nothing to do with Luo Cheng. After leaving the clearing, Luo Cheng ran for several miles in one breath and found a hidden tree hole covered by branches and leaves and immediately got into it. At this moment, Luo Chengkai breathed a sigh of relief. If he were caught in a tight siege with his current strength, it would be difficult for him to escape unscathed. "I hope I can break through the second change in one fell swoop." Luo Cheng sat cross-legged in the tree hole, his eyes shining like lightning. After swallowing the martial souls of several mortal realm masters in one breath, Luo Cheng felt that the dragon energy in his body was beginning to move. It seems that it will transform at any time. "Elder He, I'm afraid it won't be that easy for you to kill me." With a cold smile, Luo Cheng took out a 3-star pill, drank it, and immediately began to practice the true dragon art. As time passed, the vortex of vitality in Luo Cheng's dantian rotated faster and faster, and waves of invisible ripples were emitted around the dragon's energy. An hour passed, and Luo Cheng's brows sometimes frowned and sometimes relaxed. Unexpected. "Hold head high." A clear dragon roar sounded from Luo Cheng's body, and terrifying energy exploded. At this moment, a magical picture suddenly appeared in Luo Cheng's mind. In a martial spirit, the countless lit stars all came to life and turned into a giant dragon with a head swallowing clouds and mist, a majestic head and horns, and a body covered with 9-color scales. When Luo Cheng was shocked, suddenly countless giant dragons all looked at him, looking up to the sky and groaning. "Hold head high." The loud roar of the dragon penetrated the sky and the earth, as if the entire universe was shaken by it, and the stars were directly annihilated. Luo Cheng's mind was completely submerged in the dragon's roar, and he opened his eyes. His pupils were chaotic, with specks of golden light, and they were profound and unpredictable. What was that just now? Could it be related to my martial spirit? The scene just now was so shocking that it took a long time before Luo Cheng came back to his senses, his heart beating thumpingly. "Forget it, even if it has something to do with my martial soul. It's not something I can explore right now." Luo Cheng smiled bitterly and shook his head. He cleared away the distracting thoughts in his mind and closed his eyes to look at Dantian. In the vortex of vitality, the dragon energy was flying and leaping, and a pair of dragon eyes sprouted from the originally bare head. The dragon's eyes are like lightning, and its power is unpredictable. Second level of true essence realm. Luo Cheng was overjoyed. Devouring martial souls is indeed a shortcut to practicing the true dragon art. It only swallowed the souls of a few warriors in the transformation realm, and the effect was better than swallowing the souls of dozens of 2-star monster beasts. It directly allowed the dragon energy to complete the second transformation. "Elder He, you have worked so hard and made all kinds of plans to kill me. Unfortunately, it is all in vain. I want to see who else can kill me on Qingyun Island." Luo Cheng stood up, felt the surging power in his body, and punched out. Boom! The tree hole exploded directly, and sawdust scattered all over the ground. Among the debris in the sky, Luo Cheng landed on the ground. Yes, the power of this punch is at least close to 35,000 kilograms. It is stronger than the power of a beast. Luo Cheng nodded with satisfaction. A warrior at the 5th level of mortal realm has the power of 5 tigers, which is 25,000 kilograms, equivalent to the strength of a beast. Luo Cheng's current strength is almost half as strong. In addition, devouring martial souls not only speeds up the breakthrough of the true dragon art, but the majestic energy also allows Luo Cheng's cultivation to increase rapidly. Luo Cheng estimated that when he set foot on Qinyan Island, he was only in the early stage of the 4th level of mortal transformation, and now he is close to the late stage. If we continue like this, maybe we can break through to the 5th level of mortal transformation before the Qinyan trial ends. Boom! Just as Luo Cheng was thinking about it, a figure suddenly landed nearby, kicking up a cloud of smoke and dust. It was a sturdy young man in yellow clothes. Huh? Are you Luo Cheng? The young man in yellow clothes stared at Luo Cheng. His pupils shrank, and he had an intimidating power. Luo Cheng raised his brows. Don't be angry and be proud. A warrior at the 5th level of mortal realm. Yes, you do have some eyesight. The boy in yellow chuckled, clenched his fists, and said proudly, I didn't expect that I, Huang Tai, was so lucky that I met you. This is because God wants to help me enter the outer gate. Although Huang Tai is a 5th level warrior in the mortal realm, his strength is not among the top 40. It is very difficult to compete for the top 10 in the Qinyan trial. He was hunting monsters nearby just now and came over when he heard the noise. Unexpectedly, he met Luo Cheng. It was like pie in the sky. Luo Cheng chuckled. Why does everyone who meets him say they're lucky? The last person who said that is dead.